On a beautiful day just like any other, this young man was taking a stroll by himself when he suddenly felt an irritating twitch in his left eye. It was incredibly uncomfortable. Just then, he saw a beast right in front of him. Without a single wasted motion, Han Sen whipped out his dagger and stabbed it straight in the butt. A piercing scream rang out. It quickly drew the attention of countless passers-by, and the beast began to transform into a woman. Han Sen's dagger was now lodged squarely in her rear end. What an incredibly awkward sight. Isn't that Qin Xuan? To get stabbed in the butt in broad daylight? This kid's got some serious guts, daring to stab Qin Xuan. Who the hell is he? Is it possible that kid doesn't know that's a beast soul transformation? Looks like we've got a good show to watch. Hearing the onlookers' excited chatter, a chill that had nothing to do with the cold ran down Han Sen's spine. The woman before him was Qin Xuan, the most powerful and influential person in this steel armor shelter. This was likely the first time Qin Xuan had ever been poked in the butt in public, so she was both furious and mortified, stammering you for what felt like an eternity, unable to form a complete sentence. How dare you? You dare poke my butt? Being turned into a laughingstock in the middle of the street like this? Finally, Qin Xuan's fury exploded. But before she could even make a move, Han Sen was surrounded by a group of tall, muscular men. This was to be expected. That woman was their goddess. How could Han Sen expect a peaceful outcome after poking their goddess in the butt? Han Sen was forced to his knees, facing Qin Xuan's tsunami of rage. She pointed a finger in his face and fiercely declared that from now on, anyone who associated with Han Sen or helped him in any way would be her enemy. A single short sentence, but it was a complete blacklisting, severing any hope for Han Sen's future. He immediately fell into a panic. Han Sen himself couldn't understand how he had ended up in this situation right after arriving at the God Sanctuary shelter. Han Sen truly wished this was all just a nightmare. But unfortunately, Qin Xuan's words carried too much weight. From then on, he was forced to hunt alone due to his abilities. With his limited abilities, Han Sen could only hunt low-level mutant creatures. He took out his anger on the black-shelled beetles. Eating one of these creatures could randomly yield from 0 to 10 geno points, but Han Sen had already eaten over 30 of them in a row. His geno points couldn't increase any further. Humanity's geno points were currently measured by 4 indicators: ordinary, primitive, mutant, and sacred blood. Han Sen's current ordinary geno points were 79 out of 100. All his other geno points were at 0. If things continued like this, he had no idea how long he'd have to wait to complete his first evolution and get a ranking. For a whole month after that, Han Sen continuously hunted and ate low-level mutant creatures, and he still couldn't complete a single-body evolution. He had previously considered hunting some slightly stronger creatures. As a result, when he encountered a copper-toothed beast, the weakest of the primitive creatures, Han Sen couldn't even defeat it. He nearly got his sorry butt killed. He had to rest and recuperate for nearly half a month before he could return. Originally, if he could have found a few companions, hunting stronger mutant creatures wouldn't have been too difficult. It's just that now, he had been completely blacklisted by Qin Xuan. There was absolutely no chance of finding teammates. At his most desperate moment, Han Sen suddenly saw a golden light in the distance. It was still a black-shelled beetle, but its appearance was completely different from the ones Han Sen had just slaughtered. His intuition told him that this creature was no simple beast, so he gripped his dagger and charged forward. However, that golden-winged, black-shelled beetle, it seemed to be crawling quickly toward him as well. Unable to wait, Han Sen sped up, ran forward, and plunged his dagger straight into its belly. The system immediately announced that he had slain a sacred blood black-shelled beetle. Obtained sacred blood beast soul. Han Sen was in utter shock as he read the notification. It should be said that based on their characteristics and rarity, the mutant creatures in the world were now divided into 4 levels: ordinary, primitive, mutant, and sacred blood. Sacred blood mutant creatures were the rarest and most difficult to find, yet Han Sen had been lucky enough to encounter one. As far as he knew, in this entire steel armor shelter, very few people possessed a sacred blood beast soul. It seemed the heavens hadn't abandoned him after all. Han Sen ate the mutant creature's flesh and received 7 sacred blood geno points. The beast soul he obtained from that black-shelled beetle was an armor type. This was exactly what Han Sen had been hoping for. He immediately merged with the beast soul, and his body was quickly covered by a suit of golden armor. Han Sen felt his body become comfortable and filled with energy in an instant. Truly worthy of a sacred blood beast soul, especially after it had transformed into armor. Compared to armor made from primitive beast souls, this was on a whole other level. In the past, Han Sen had seen other espers wearing armor from primitive beast souls, and had been incredibly envious. He never imagined that one day he'd be wearing armor made from a sacred blood beast soul. Impatient, Han Sen chose a large stone slab to test his strength. He threw a single punch, and the large rock instantly shattered. This power was so overwhelming it left Han Sen gasping in amazement. After living so wretchedly for over a month, he had finally reached the day he could turn his life around. After this great harvest, Han Sen returned to the Steel Armor Shelter headquarters. Although he had eaten the raw flesh of the Sacred Blood black-shelled beetle and gained 7 Sacred Blood Geno points, there was still a portion of its meat left over. Han Sen brought it back to make soup. Finishing the whole pot would probably increase his points a little more. However, besides the flesh and the beast soul, he had pulled something else from the black-shelled beetle's body. It looked like a very bright crystal, but it didn't seem to be part of an insect's body. While Han Sen was busy admiring the crystal, suddenly, the 6-horned beast locked in the adjacent cage stuck out its long tongue, snatched it away, and before Han Sen could even register what was happening, it had swallowed the orb. After the 6-scaled beast swallowed it, it remained motionless for so long that Han Sen thought it was already dead. But then, the mutant beast suddenly began to transform. Its body grew uncontrollably, shattering the cage, and it lunged forward to bite Han Sen's head. He quickly drew the dagger at his hip. He dealt it a fatal blow. Luckily, the 6-scaled beast's combat power wasn't too high. Han Sen had a good scare, but was still relatively safe after the mutant beast died. The system immediately sent him a notification, as usual. The noteworthy thing was that this 6-scaled beast was originally just a common class creature, but after swallowing that gem, it had transformed into a primitive class. Most likely that crystal helped it evolve, just like that abnormal god-blood black-armored beetle. Thinking of this, Han Sen eagerly cut open the 6-scaled beast's corpse. The crystal was still intact in its stomach. At that moment, a bold thought popped into Han Sen's head, though he wasn't sure. Could this crystal help other creatures evolve to the god-blood class? But if that's true, then he could make full use of it. It wouldn't be long before he could completely transform himself. While Han Sen was feeling happy about his newly acquired spoils, back at home, his mother, Luo Sulan, was having a headache because of their so-called family. Han Sen's father had passed away. His brothers immediately came to the house to bully the widow, Luo Sulan, wanting to reclaim the house, all because of this old property. It was originally the property of Han Sen's paternal grandparents, and they didn't want Luo Sulan to enjoy it all by herself. You've lived here for over 25 years. That's a huge bargain you've gotten. Now it's time to divide a portion of the family assets. Han Sen's second uncle, Han Lei, spoke in an extremely condescending tone. Second brother is absolutely right, Han Sen's uncle-in-law chimed in. This old house is worth up to 3 million. If you give each of our families 1 million, this house will be yours. If not, then sell it immediately. Now, it was Han Sen's second aunt's turn to speak. Luo Sulan was in an extremely difficult position. Her husband had just passed away, and their finances were tight. She had no idea where she'd get 2 million to give them. But if she sold the house, they would have nowhere to live. She originally wanted to ask for some time to figure things out, but Han Lei started shouting and cursing. Is your family the only one struggling? Both Han Sen and Han Yan are only attending the compulsory education program. Our Han Hao attends a private school. The tuition fees alone each year are enough to turn my hair white. Then, this man took it upon himself to give Luo Sulan a 1-month deadline. In 1 month, she either had to give each of their families 1 million, or sell this house and divide the money equally. Otherwise, we'll settle this in court. Then Han Lei's group left. Her face pale, Luo Sulan slumped to the ground. Just then, Han Sen arrived home for a visit. Although these people were truly his blood relatives, he could never consider them family. Before, when they were in debt for over 10 million, it was his father who stepped up to help them. Now, not long after he passed away, they shamelessly show up here demanding money. The Starry Group wanted to swallow our family's company. If Dad hadn't stood up for everyone, argued with the Starry Group, and turned against them, how could he have passed away so mysteriously? Han Sen said, gritting his teeth in anger. Feeling helpless, Luo Sulan cried silently, repeatedly blaming herself for being useless, unable to even protect their old house. Seeing his mother like this, Han Sen's heart felt like it was being torn into 1,000,000 pieces. Mom, don't worry. I've already asked Uncle Jang. There's a solution. Just focus on taking care of little Yan. Just leave this matter to me. They won't be able to take this house from us. In Luo Sulan's eyes, Han Sen was just a kid who had recently graduated high school. But after a month at the steel armor shelter, he seemed like a completely different person. He had become much more reliable. Since Han Sen said so, she had no choice but to swallow her tears and trust her son. As for Han Sen, he had no intention of letting those ungrateful bastards who bullied his mother and sister get off so easily. After that, Han Sen said goodbye to his mother and sister and headed to the teleportation station, preparing to return to the steel armor shelter. At the station, one could easily overhear information about rising stars. For example, Chairman Zhao Yalong of the Zhao Group had completed his third evolution and was qualified to enter the fourth god's sanctuary, achieving the rank of demigod, or the young genius Lan Gi, who used 100 mutant genopoints to enter the second god's sanctuary. Previously, these concepts of the evolved, surpassers, and demigods were all beyond Han Sen's reach. But now he had that mysterious crystal. He could probably reach that stage as well. He now had God Blood Genopoints, but reaching 100 God Blood Genopoints to evolve in such a short time was still too difficult. For now, Han Sen just wanted to earn 100 primitive and mutant Genopoints. With that in mind, he headed straight for Windfall Valley. Han Sen planned to quickly earn enough money, 2 million yuan, to shut those ungrateful relatives up. By the time he reached Windfall Valley, Han Sen was still filled with regret. If he hadn't cooked the corpse of that sacred blood black-armored beetle into a soup, he definitely could have sold it for 1 to 2 million. Who knew that something like this would happen right after he ate it? During the hunt that day, the first creature Han Sen encountered was a primitive class Gale Mantis. This species' defining characteristic is its lightning-fast speed, attacking with its serrated sickle-like forelegs. Its fatal weakness was its waist. Han Sen had no reason to pass up this primitive class mutant beast, so he quickly launched an attack. At first, he struggled a bit because the Gale Mantis's speed and attack power were truly formidable. However, with that God Blood Beast soul armor, the Gale Mantis couldn't even scratch him. Han Sen still held the upper hand and eventually took his opponent down. After this, Gale Mantis was killed. An entire swarm of Gale Mantises charged out from nowhere and attacked Han Sen in unison. It seemed they had mobilized their entire force, but Han Sen didn't know the meaning of fear. The more he fought, the more fired up he got, eventually wiping them all out. At the same time, at the entrance to Wind Wailing Valley, another Esper appeared. It was one of Qin Xuan's subordinates, a rich kid named Su Xiaoqiao. Despite being filthy rich, Su Xiaoqiao was just a bootlicker who wanted to be praised by Qin Xuan. He wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty hunting mutant beasts. However, after entering the valley, Su Xiaoqiao realized something was wrong because there wasn't a single Gale Mantis in sight. At first, he thought some team had already swept through the area, but on closer inspection, it didn't look like a group had passed through. Then, Su Xiaoqiao spotted some bloodstains. As he went deeper, he saw large pools of blood. From the bloodstains, you could tell that a fierce battle had just taken place here. Driven by curiosity, Su Xiaoqiao ventured even deeper. There, the corpses of Gale Mantises were piled high into a mountain, and Han Sen was standing right on top of that pile of bodies, looking incredibly heroic. Su Xiaoqiao couldn't hide his shock. "Big brother, did you take down all these Gale Mantises by yourself? For real?" Han Sen didn't answer. Instead, he asked Su Xiaoqiao, "You want these? Then it's 1,000 Zuoquan coins each, no haggling." Note: Zuoquan coins are the common currency in this world. In truth, Han Sen was having a huge headache right now because he had accidentally wiped out the entire nest of Gale Mantises. He couldn't possibly eat them all, so he had to sell them. He never expected to run into a rich guy. As soon as Su Xiaoqiao heard the price, his face lit up. He pulled out a thick wad of cash and handed it to Han Sen. "I'll buy all the Gale Mantises here. If there's any money left over, consider it a deposit. If you get any good mutant beasts in the future, I'll come back and buy them at a high price." Han Sen, who was dead tired, had suddenly hit the jackpot. Having met a big spender, he proactively asked for Su Xiaoqiao's name and room number so he could find him later with good stuff. "My name is Su Xiaoqiao, and my room number at the steel armor shelter is 1046. What about you? What's your name and room number?" Of course, Han Sen wasn't foolish enough to reveal his information to the other guy. After all, in this steel armor shelter, he was an outcast hated by everyone. Han Sen took the money and left. He didn't forget to promise he'd find Su Xiaoqiao later with good stuff. "Gold coins, I only recognize gold coins," Han Sen said. He never thought Su Xiaoqiao would be such an idiot. The guy said he only recognized gold coins, but he interpreted it as Han Sen's name being Gold Coin. Feeling that he shouldn't address a master by his full name, he started calling him Brother Coin. Brother Coin, I'll be waiting for you. You have to come, okay? After parting ways with Su Xiao Chao, Hansen went to the territory of the bronze-toothed beasts to continue hunting. He'd accidentally wiped out the Gale Mantis swarm just now, so he had to learn from that experience. He had to leave one alive to use that crystal on it. The bronze-toothed beast was also a primitive-class mutant beast. Hansen killed one after another, and finally obtained a beast soul. The beast souls of the bronze-toothed beasts were highly sought after. Their beast souls took the form of a weapon, which was exactly what Hansen was lacking. Now he had both armor and a weapon. His strength had increased significantly once again. After a long day of hunting, Hansen returned to the steel armor shelter. Just as he reached the gate, he saw a troop of soldiers riding mutant beasts on their way out. Looking closely, it was Son of Heaven's troop. He was the lord of this area, and also one of Qin Xuan's suitors. The moment Son of Heaven saw Hansen, his expression turned icy. Then, without a word, he drew his whip and lashed out fiercely at him. Caught by surprise, Hansen couldn't even dodge. He was struck a painful blow. "Bastard!" Son of Heaven cursed loudly. "Who was so bold as to sell a primitive-class mutant beast to you?" Hansen was furious at being attacked for no reason. But the gossiping bystanders knew at a glance that Son of Heaven was getting revenge. It was because Hansen had poked his goddess's butt before. Here in the steel armor shelter, no one was crazy enough to confront him, so no one dared to speak up for Hansen. "If I catch the person who dared to sell that thing to you, you'll both be waiting for punishment," Son of Heaven bellowed. He clearly refused to believe that Hansen had hunted the bronze-toothed beast himself. After speaking, Son of Heaven spurred his mutant beast and dashed away. His disciple, who was behind him, Luo Tianyong, couldn't help but shoot Hansen a death glare. Today, their troop was in a hurry to get somewhere else. Otherwise, Son of Heaven definitely wouldn't have let him off. With just a single lash of the whip, Hansen rubbed the whip mark on his shoulder, silently cursing those bastards. It looked like he'd have to use that crystal soon. He needed to increase his strength so these people would stop looking down on him. A gentleman's revenge, even after 15 years, is not too late. One day he would crush these people under his feet. 3 days later, in Hansen's room at the steel armor shelter, the copper-toothed beast he had fed the crystal to began to transform. Once its entire body turned bronze like a statue, it would be considered a fully transformed mutant copper-toothed beast. However, even though the copper-toothed beast's fur now shimmered with a bronze color, it was still a far cry from a true mutant copper-toothed beast. It seemed evolving from a primitive creature to a mutant was not as simple as an ordinary creature, evolving into a primitive one. Hansen had no choice but to wait patiently. But just sitting around waiting like this was a complete waste of time. In the meantime, he decided to go out and hunt a few more primitive creatures to exchange for money. He could also eat their flesh to increase his own primitive genopoints. Suddenly, a commotion erupted outside. Hansen pressed his ear to a crack in the door to listen. "Hurry up. Let's go see what's happening in the Wind Valley." "So many people are there, you don't know? The 3 overlords of the steel armor shelter have teamed up to hunt a god-blood creature. Hurry, we might be able to pick up some scraps." As soon as he heard god-blood creature, Hansen knew exactly where he had to go next. He sprinted at full speed towards the Wind Valley they were talking about. Down in the valley, Hansen could see Son of Heaven and Qin Xuan fighting together. Their target was a god-blood creature of unparalleled strength. "Dodge it!" someone in the group suddenly yelled. Hansen saw Son of Heaven leap spectacularly, narrowly avoiding the god-blood beast's attack. But in doing so, Son of Heaven's mount was torn to shreds by the god-blood beast. It seemed that even among god-blood creatures, its strength was on a different level compared to the black beetle that Hansen had hunted. Look, even when surrounded by Son of Heaven's entire army, it was completely unharmed. However, the beast also seemed afraid of a prolonged fight. As proof, after breaking through their lines, it quickly tried to flee. Son of Heaven had expended so much effort, and even had his mount torn apart. How could he let the culprit escape? He then took out his ultimate weapon, a green bow. Qin Xuan knew at a glance that it was a god-blood-grade beast soul. More importantly, this beast soul of Son of Heaven's was a one-time use type. It seemed he was going all in on this battle. "You monster, taste the arrow of my vengeance!" Son of Heaven drew the bow and fired an arrow straight at the god-blood beast. The shot was incredibly accurate, causing the beast to collapse instantly. It was left barely breathing. Undeniably, Son of Heaven had looked incredibly cool just now. He was even taking the opportunity to show off a little for Qin Xuan. But unexpectedly, at that moment, Han Sen descended from above and delivered the final blow, finishing off the beast known as the Bloody Slayer. Because of that, he received its beast soul, a weapon in the form of a double-bladed axe. Just one look was enough to see how powerful it was. The people in Son of Heaven's army didn't understand what had just happened. Only Su Xiaokao recognized Han Sen by his black beetle armor. Son of Heaven, of course, was not about to let this slide. He charged forward, and his army surged after him in pursuit of Han Sen. He ran with all his might, but the beast soul was incredibly heavy, slowing Han Sen down a bit. This is why he was being chased at the beginning of the story. Even though Han Sen now had some god-blood genopoints, carrying that massive axe made it difficult to even walk, let alone run. At this rate, Han Sen feared he would be caught soon. With Son of Heaven closing in from behind, the axe on his back felt so heavy it was hard for Han Sen to breathe. He had just obtained the crystal. A bright future was opening up for him. Was it really going to end in disgrace like this? Han Sen refused to accept it, but he felt he couldn't run anymore. Taking the risk of stealing a kill from such a large army, it wasn't too surprising that this was the result. "Mom, yeah, I'm sorry, I've done all I can." Han Sen closed his eyes, seemingly ready to give up. But just at that moment, a familiar voice appeared in his mind. "So, you want to give up? You really want to stop? Are you sure you want to quit, little Sen?" This voice belonged to his late father. Han Sen recalled a time when he was young, when his father had let him play a virtual reality game. Back then, Han Sen had seen the player in front of him get devoured by a monster, and was too afraid to take another step. But his father taught him that danger always goes hand in hand with opportunity, and that he couldn't stop moving forward just because he was afraid of danger. The conversation between father and son from that day had suddenly become crystal clear in his mind. His father had once said that evolution, by its very nature, is a risky process for all living things. Only by constantly pushing forward, constantly shedding blood, could one become stronger. In the game back then, they were surrounded by monsters from all sides. Han Sen's father had said that in reality there would come a day when he too would find himself cornered, with no way out, besieged on all sides. If you want to live, you have to become strong. And if you want to become strong, you must never give up, no matter how difficult it gets. Little Sen, I know you're a smart kid. You're just too gentle, unwilling to push forward, but you have to do it. Even if it's in this game. I've journeyed with you many times, but not in the real world. It's not like the game. After saying those words, Han Sen's father took the sword from his son's hand and stabbed himself in the chest. Because of this, Han Sen leveled up and dealt with the monsters in the dungeon himself. Back then he had only killed himself in the game. Who would have thought that later on, he would truly have to leave so soon? The memories of his father flared up once more in Han Sen's heart, urging him not to give up now. His father was gone. He couldn't follow him so soon and leave his mother and sister to suffer. An idea formed in Han Sen's mind. Although it was extremely dangerous, if it succeeded, he wouldn't have to run anymore. Just then, Son of Heaven caught up from behind. He leaped from his mount, drew his sword, and tried to slice Han Sen in half. But at that exact moment, Han Sen merged the beast soul of the blood crystal slasher and the beast soul of the black-armored beetle. At that moment, Han Sen transformed into a half-man, half-beast form. His upper body was human, his lower body was that of a black bull. The burden disappeared, and his running speed skyrocketed. In an instant, he escaped Son of Heaven's blade. The people behind could only stare in astonishment as they saw Han Sen fuse two types of beast souls. Fusing two beast souls could bring a person to the brink of death. They couldn't understand how he dared to do something so dangerous while running away. He was clearly out of his mind. But even so, Son of Heaven had no intention of letting Han Sen go. He and his subordinates continued the chase. During their recent battle, some other evolved ones had also been observing from above, and they were all sworn enemies of Son of Heaven. They didn't know who Han Sen was, but they felt a sense of admiration for him, daring to do something so audacious. It was also very satisfying to see that guy, Son of Heaven, in such a predicament. In this mountain, there are 9 bends and 18 paths. As long as Han Sen ran the right way, Son of Heaven wouldn't be able to find him. He used a god-blood beast soul arrow and couldn't even get a single hair from the mutant beast. This time, Son of Heaven really messed up. This makes me so happy. Haha, that golden axe, a god-blood beast soul, if he sells it, he'll definitely strike it rich. It must be worth a lot of money. Money? You think you can just buy a god-blood beast soul with money? I don't know who that guy is. A moment ago, I thought I heard someone call him Brother Gold Coin. What a great name. All about gold and money. While those evolved ones were gloating over Son of Heaven being tricked, Han Sen had already escaped. He found a secluded corner in the forest to stop. Different beast souls have different forms and effects. It seems the god blood beast soul of the blood crystal slasher has a time limit for its transformation. With Han Sen's current abilities, this process could last up to 7 or 8 minutes. Luckily, he chose to run instead of fighting Son of Heaven's army. Otherwise, after those 7 or 8 minutes were up, he would have been torn to pieces. This axe couldn't be stored in a dimensional space like other beast souls. Han Sen bet that the entrance to the steel armor shelter was now crawling with Son of Heaven's army. Therefore, he couldn't bring the axe back under these circumstances. Han Sen could only temporarily bury it in the forest. After he was done, he returned to the steel armor shelter late at night. Just as he predicted, a large number of Son of Heaven's troops were gathered at the entrance. Everyone who wanted to enter the city had to undergo a search, but they couldn't find anything on Han Sen, so he was able to pass through easily. Inside the steel armor shelter, people everywhere were talking about how Son of Heaven had been made a fool of by someone named Brother Gold Coin, even having to use a single-use god blood arrow, only to lose the beast soul right in front of everyone. The more Han Sen listened, the more delighted he felt. This afternoon he had taken a hit from Son of Heaven, and tonight he had paid him back 10 times over. That night, Qin Xuan called Su Xiaokao into her private room. The reason was because, at that time, he had let it slip and called Han Sen Brother Gold Coin. This made Son of Heaven suspect that the two of them were connected. If it hadn't been for Qin Xuan's earnest defense, Su Xiaokao's life would have been hard to save. Quick, tell me, who on earth is Gold Coin? Sister Xuan, I really don't know Gold Coin. I only met him once in Wind Valley. At that time, he sold me a few Zephyr Wolves. I even gave some to the brothers to try. Su Xiaoqiao had no reason to lie, especially since he was also a huge admirer of Qin Xuan. She didn't interrogate him further. Instead, she wanted Su Xiaoqiao to contact Gold Coin and tell him that she wanted to buy his god blood beast soul at a high price. That night, Han Sen couldn't sleep and started hunting again. Son of Heaven had put a bounty on his head, wanting him under the name Gold Coin. The amount was so large that Han Sen even felt like turning himself in for the money. But of course he wasn't that stupid. It's just that now there was a problem giving Han Sen a headache. His ordinary Geno points were now at 91 out of 100. He had also earned 10 primitive Geno points. He had 8 God Blood Geno points, but his mutant Geno points still hadn't increased at all. This wasn't good at all. Han Sen was stalking a mutant beast deep in the lake. He waited for a long time until it finally peeked its head out, revealing an eye, but it quickly submerged again. And the reason it submerged was because of a sound from the forest. Han Sen, on alert, pricked up his ears to listen. A moment later, a figure emerged from the woods, but his clothes were in tatters. He looked quite unusual. This person also quickly noticed Han Sen's presence and asked him where this place was. He also said he was from Glory Shelter. This is Steel Armor Shelter north of the Kellis Mountains. I don't know where this Glory Shelter you're talking about is, Han Sen replied to the man. Hearing him say that, the man's expression darkened slightly. Steel Armor Shelter. So I've gone so far as to enter the territory of another god's shelter? After saying that, the man looked up and spoke to Han Sen in a commanding tone. Take me to your shelter. Han Sen could also hear the condescending tone in the other's voice. Because of that, he wasn't very happy. He just pointed the way for the man. Then, he refused to guide him, saying he still had to hunt. But just as Han Sen turned around, the man suddenly sucker-punched him, sending him stumbling forward. His head slammed into a large rock, gushing blood. Han Sen immediately flew into a rage. What the hell is your problem? Cut the nonsense. All you need to do is obey me. Now take me to your shelter, the man continued to order. Han Sen couldn't take it anymore and summoned his beast soul weapon, wanting to fight the man to the death. His furious appearance was very intimidating, but his opponent didn't seem the least bit scared. On the contrary, he seemed a bit contemptuous. The 3 basic spear techniques from the Universal Education Program? Garbage. Even if my beast soul has been destroyed, I'm not someone that a piece of trash like you can handle. With that, the man shattered Han Sen's spear with his bare hands. Han Sen was utterly shocked, immediately recognizing it as a Super Geno Core art. It was a type of advanced martial art that could unleash the potential within one's genes, like a thermonuclear reaction. What's wrong? Do I need to show you what a difference in class looks like? You piece of trash. I'll give you one last chance. Lead the way, or die. Han Sen knew his opponent was stronger, but he couldn't stand some lunatic who fell from the sky and kept calling him trash. He wanted to fight it out, so he summoned his armor. "Who are you calling trash? Did no one ever teach you basic manners? When you're out in the world, you should know how to treat people with respect." After speaking, Han Sen lunged forward to attack, but his opponent's speed was too fast. He couldn't land a single hit. Instead, he was struck by the opponent's palm on his leg. Although it wasn't enough to break the bone, the armor made from a sacred blood beast soul was dented. Han Sen was incredibly shocked. While wearing this armor, he had encountered countless mutant beasts, yet none could even leave a scratch on it. This man's strength was far beyond normal standards. As for his opponent, Zhou, it seemed he was also very surprised that Han Sen's armor could withstand his ice muscle jade bone art. From that, he easily deduced it was a sacred blood beast soul armor. Having just lost his own beast soul, meeting Han Sen was like grasping at a lifeline. So he threatened, "Hand over your sacred blood armor now, and I'll spare your life." Han Sen wasn't a fool. This was a God-sent opportunity. How could he willingly hand it over to someone else? So Han Sen attacked once more. This time, he chose to deliver a straight axe kick from above, but unfortunately, his opponent blocked it. He even caught his leg and slammed Han Sen hard onto the ground. "Trash will always be trash. If you don't hand over the sacred blood beast soul armor, you're still just trash." He verbally abused Han Sen while grabbing the back of his neck, relentlessly smashing his face into the ground. Han Sen was in so much pain he wanted to die, but his will to fight was still blazing. He rammed his elbow back hard. This time, his opponent couldn't dodge in time. Han Sen's elbow struck him in the chest, immediately making him cough up a mouthful of blood. "Today, I'm going to cripple you for sure," Han Sen roared, then once again merged with the bloody slayer beast soul. Before his opponent could even see clearly, he was knocked to the ground by Han Sen. Now he had the complete upper hand. Han Sen repeatedly punched his opponent's body hard. With each punch, he asked, "Who's the trash now? Who's the trash now?" The man being beaten to a pulp continuously screamed, "Stop!" But there was no way Han Sen would stop. By the time the bloody slayer beast soul's effect wore off, the man's body was soaked in blood, a gruesome sight to behold. Han Sen calmed down a little. His body began to tremble with fear because this was the first time he had taken another's life. However, if he hadn't done it, the one to die today, it would have been him. The man's Super Geno Core art was truly terrifying. After calming down, Han Sen approached the opponent's corpse. His body couldn't be more battered. He patted him down, wondering if the man had anything of value on him. And indeed, Han Sen found something suspicious. A memory crystal. That memory crystal was not cheap at all. After returning to his private room in the steel armor shelter, he took it out to examine it, and to his surprise, what was recorded inside was the complete version of the ice muscle jade bone art. Moreover, it was described with holographic images, making it incredibly easy to understand. Han Sen was so happy he couldn't stop smiling. Today was truly his lucky day. During the day, he had snatched the bloody slayer beast soul from Son of Heaven, and at night he obtained a high-level Super Geno Core art from that strange man. He had originally planned to buy a Super Geno Core art after earning enough money, but now he had saved a considerable amount. And so, Han Sen began to learn the ice muscle jade bone art. The more he practiced, the more marvelous he found it. About 3 days later, Han Sen felt his body growing colder and colder, but at the same time, stronger. His skin had even become much smoother. His body temperature was now a full 2 degrees lower than a normal person's. This must be the effect of the ice muscle jade bone technique. Just then, Han Sen's phone rang. The caller was Zhang Danfeng. "Han Sen, it's been a while. Come hang out for a bit. Han Hao and Shui Shi are both here." Hearing the name Han Hao, Han Sen immediately agreed. Han Hao was Han Lei's son, which made him his cousin. Although Son of Heaven's group was hunting for him everywhere, no one knew that Han Sen was Dollar, so going out for a bit should be fine. Before long, Zhang Danfeng drove over to pick Han Sen up. On the way, Han Hao was rambling on and on to Shui Shi about the battle between Son of Heaven and Dollar, endlessly praising how cool Dollar was. Han Sen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If Han Hao knew that the brother Dollar he'd been gushing about was his own cousin, he'd probably freeze on the spot and stop trying to show off in front of a girl. Not that Han Sen was happy at all that Han Hao had been sent to steel armor shelter. Because of their family issues, it was still very difficult to resolve things. Ever since his father passed away, their relatives had looked down on and even humiliated his family. Han Sen didn't consider them family anymore. But now that their son was here, it was truly awkward. "Feng Zi, where are we going?" Han Sen asked, getting a bit antsy as Zhang Danfeng kept driving without arriving anywhere. "We're almost there. Look ahead." The place they arrived at was the Starlight Martial Arts Hall. It turned out Zhang Danfeng wanted to watch a boxing match. Today's fight featured Tong Zhenliu. Last year, this man was ranked 5th in God's Sanctuary and had already been listed on the God's Tablet. In recent years, the top name on this martial arts tablet in Steel Armor Shelter had always been Qin Xuan, but her name had never once appeared on the God's Tablet. While Zhang Danfeng was rambling on, down in the ring, Tang Zhenliu had already summoned his beast soul. It was a sacred blood raging beast soul. Zhang Danfeng gasped repeatedly, his eyes and voice filled with admiration. "If I had a beast soul like that, I could die without regrets." In contrast to his excitement, Han Hao was perfectly calm. "What's so great about this beast soul? I'd say Tang Zhenliu's raging beast soul isn't even half as good as Brother Dollar's sacred blood beast soul." Zhang Danfeng snorted, then shot Han Hao a judgmental look. "I don't know if this Brother Dollar of yours is strong or not, but he stole that beast soul from someone else. That's hardly the mark of a hero. How can a despicable person like him even be compared to Tang Zhenliu?" The despicable person Zhang Danfeng was scorning was sitting right next to him. Han Sen heard every single word, crystal clear. It was a direct hit. But he wasn't wrong. It's just that in that situation, only an idiot wouldn't have snatched the Bloodslayer beast soul, especially since Son of Heaven was his enemy. It seemed that for now he shouldn't tell Zhang Danfeng that he was Dollar. It would just avoid unnecessary arguments. Half a month later, Han Sen was busy hunting while also raising that copper-toothed beast. Just as he had hoped, it evolved into a mutant copper-toothed beast. Although he really wanted to eat it to increase his mutant geno points, he needed the money more right now. And so, Han Sen took the initiative to contact Su Xiaokao. That night, the two met at Lufeng Valley. Su Xiaokao bought the mutant copper-toothed beast meat for 2 million. Taking this opportunity, Su Xiaokao also told Han Sen that Qin Xuan wanted to buy the Bloodslayer beast soul and the golden double-bladed axe. He wasn't surprised. He just told Su Xiaokao to pass on a message. If Qin Xuan could offer a price that satisfied him, he would sell. After the transaction, Han Sen continued hunting. His target this time was the poison-spiked scorpions in the bottomless cave. This was a type of creature with extremely potent venom. Fortunately, Han Sen had his black beetle armor, so they couldn't do anything to him. After clearing out the bottomless cave, Han Sen was hauling a sack full of poison-spiked scorpions, planning to leave. But before he reached the cave entrance, Han Sen heard someone call his name. "Brother Dollar, is that you?" The light ahead gradually became clearer, and the person sitting there was none other than Qin Xuan. Han Sen thought she was there to settle the score with him, so he pretended not to hear and walked right past her. But this time, Qin Xuan called after him, asking him to take her along. Only then did Han Sen notice that her ankle was injured, and he also realized that Qin Xuan had no idea he was the bastard who stabbed her in the butt not long ago. With this full-body armor, he didn't have to worry at all about being discovered. If that was the case, Han Sen decided to seize this opportunity to get something good for himself. He sat down beside her, pretending to examine Qin Xuan's wound, and asked, "Looks like you were poisoned by a poison-spiked scorpion. But how could that have happened? You're obviously very strong." "A poison-spiked scorpion ambushed me when my dragon saliva scent was about to run out," Qin Xuan said, a dagger appearing in her hand. Han Sen recognized this weapon. "It's formed by the sacred blood poison heart butterfly beast soul. Don't even think about taking advantage of me. Your armor can't block this." Han Sen had originally intended to tease the woman a bit, but he didn't expect her to be able to read his malicious thoughts and be so on guard. "Don't misunderstand, I don't have any other intentions. Didn't you want me to take you with me?" Han Sen hurriedly waved his hands, looking as if he'd just been wrongly accused. Qin Xuan still refused to let her guard down. She proposed a deal. If Han Sen could get her safely out of the bottomless cave, she would pay him a large sum of money as thanks. After all, he was always making deals with Su Xiaokao to earn money. Han Sen had already earned the 2 million he needed to pay off his mother's debt. "You don't seem to be in desperate need of money anymore. It's true that I like money, but I don't need it that badly right now. You just mentioned the toxic-grained toad. Is it still alive?" "I killed it. It's right back there. Is there a problem?" At this point, Qin Xuan looked Han Sen up and down, and she was quite surprised to see that his armor didn't have a single scratch on it. And that was after a confrontation with the toxic-grained toad. As for Han Sen, He agreed to take Qin Xuan out without asking for money. In return, Han Sen wanted a mutant beast soul as payment, the toxic-grained toad that Qin Xuan had just killed. The two quickly reached an agreement. Han Sen then carried Qin Xuan out. Along the way, Qin Xuan couldn't stop thinking about what had just happened. Han Sen had eaten the entire toxic-grained toad, not leaving a single piece behind. While she was lost in thought, Han Sen had already brought her near the steel armor shelter. But neither of them wanted to be seen by outsiders, so he just left her near the entrance. As promised, Qin Xuan gave Han Sen a mutant beast soul, and while she was at it, she also asked about the beast souls of the Bloody Slayer and the double-bladed axe. Qin Xuan really wanted to buy them, and the price she could offer was 6 million. Han Sen was very satisfied and agreed immediately. After all, he couldn't use that axe anyway. Then get the money ready. I'll let you know the time and place through Su Xiaokao. After taking off his armor, Han Sen brought his spoils back to the steel armor shelter. Just as he passed through the gate, he ran into Han Hao, but Han Hao acted as if he didn't know his cousin at all. Only after Han Hao's friends left, did he pull Han Sen into a corner. It turned out Han Hao's attitude was because he had heard that Han Sen had managed to piss off 2 major players, Qin Xuan and Son of Heaven. Therefore, he didn't want anyone to know they were cousins. My path is just beginning. I don't want to be held back by you. Fine, I'll keep my mouth shut. We'll act like we don't know each other in this shelter. Han Sen threw back a sentence and walked away. A few days ago, he was still struggling with how to face his cousin. But now that Han Hao had chosen to look down on him like his parents did, he had nothing more to think about. Han Sen returned to his room. Now that he was rolling in money, his life could finally get a little better. Han Sen really wanted to share this joy with his mother and sister, so the next day he went home and took them out. Han Sen didn't even hesitate to treat Han Yun to the expensive jade ice cream, a delicacy that not too long ago he wouldn't have even dared to think about. The ice cream parlor was very crowded, so Han Sen wanted to take his mother and sister to the second floor. But he was stopped by an employee, because the second floor was reserved for the privileged and nobles. Luo Sulan and Han Yan didn't have any problem with this, but Han Sen was visibly annoyed. He swore that he would soon have everything, and he wouldn't let these so-called privileges of the upper class get in his way anymore. After a day out with his family, Han Sen was on his way back to the steel armor shelter. Every time he took this train, it was packed, and today was no exception. When the train suddenly braked, Han Sen accidentally crashed into a girl, and whether it was by accident or on purpose, his face slammed right into her chest. Han Sen was immediately met with an elbow, because the other person thought he was harassing her. Ouch! I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. Han Sen clutched his face, trembling from the pain. When the distance between them widened, he realized the person he had just bumped into was Qin Xuan, and she had also recognized him as the pervert from last time. This time, not even the Yellow River could wash away his sins. A leopard never changes its spots. I thought you were just an idiot last time, but I never expected you to be such a disgusting person. Qin Xuan gritted her teeth and yelled. The people around them also began to criticize Han Sen, thinking he was using the accident as an excuse to harass Qin Xuan. Han Sen wanted to explain that the train had just braked suddenly. That's why he lost his balance. But how could Qin Xuan believe someone with a prior record like him? Just then, the train arrived at the station. Qin Xuan had no intention of letting Han Sen off so easily. You think I'm going to let this go so easily? Aren't you heading to the steel armor shelter? I'll be waiting for you there. After saying that, Qin Xuan got off the train first. Han Sen stuck his head out and saw 2 lines of people waiting neatly to greet her. And more importantly, they were calling her Station Master Qin. Han Sen felt as if he had been struck by lightning. If Qin Xuan was the master of this teleportation station, then she could totally find out. When he entered and exited the station, holding his every move in the palm of her hand, Han Sen clutched his head and endlessly cursed his terrible luck. Then he started thinking of ways to guard against Qin Xuan. Once the secret that he was Brother Gold Coin was revealed, he wouldn't even be able to dream of a peaceful life anymore. As for Han Sen, upon returning to the steel armor shelter, he immediately ran into Luo Tianyang's group. What's more, Luo even wanted to drag him along on a hunt. At first, Han Sen wanted to refuse to avoid the trouble, but Luo Tianyang insisted on dragging him along. The whole group went to the mountain range just like that. It seemed Son of Heaven had spent a large sum of money to organize a massive hunt. After a few days, Han Sen started to become suspicious. Even though they'd been on the move for a few days, they had only encountered a few primitive-level beasts, and so few creatures at that. Couldn't Son of God's group have handled this on their own? So why drag so many people along? He thought it over and over, feeling certain this son of God fellow had his own plans. Sure enough, it wasn't long before the group arrived before a cliff face. In front of them was a giant pit. Luo Tianyang ordered the mercenaries to lead the way, and Han Sen, the one they labeled the ass freak, was among them. Han Sen was extremely reluctant, heading straight into the deepest part of the mountain range. Just the sound of it told him how dangerous it would be. He really had no idea what Son of God was planning. But in the end, Han Sen and the other mercenaries still had to act as vanguards and clear the way. Inside, the pit was bottomless. They walked on and on, but still couldn't see the end. The man carrying the torch at the front had wanted to move slowly, sensing danger ahead. Unexpectedly, Luo Tianyang, from the rear, relentlessly whipped them. He lashed out at them furiously, shouting as he struck, "Why are you so slow, dawdling like a bunch of women? Hurry up, don't you want your bonus anymore?" Urged on by Luo Tianyang, the group's pace quickened a little. They came to a wide river with no way to cross. Luo Tianyang then threw a few items from his hands. As soon as they hit the water, they transformed into large inflatable boats. No matter how Han Sen looked at it, it was clear they had prepared this in advance. What on earth was waiting for them on the other side? What was stranger was that Son of God's group didn't get on the boats. While he was lost in thought, the water's surface suddenly churned, and from the depths, a giant creature abruptly shot up. It sent the inflatable boats rocking violently. Son of God, standing on the shore, looked incredibly smug. "So, you've finally shown yourself." The crimson-scaled black serpent. The appearance of the crimson-scaled black serpent cost several people their lives. Han Sen knew right away that bastard Son of God had no good intentions. He was clearly using them as bait for the beast. The other boats that hadn't capsized immediately turned to flee. But Son of God on the shore drew his sword and slashed, cutting off their escape route. "You worthless trash, trying to take the money and run? Anyone who dares run, I'll cut them down!" he roared. Blocked from reaching the shore, the mercenaries were trapped. In their predicament, they tried to make a deal with Son of God. "If that's how it is, then if we can last until the end, you have to give us a share of the profit." Hearing this, Han Sen could only curse fools under his breath. These people were truly blinded by money. It was obvious they were being used, while Son of God's group was on the shore enjoying the show. There was no way they'd share any profits. He was clearly leading everyone to their deaths. Son of God wanted to use human lives to fill the beast's stomach and drain its energy so that his group could cross the river safely. Han Sen felt extreme contempt for the man. He had just started to get ahead in life. He couldn't let himself die over something so ridiculous. Han Sen tried to paddle his boat as fast as he could, but he was no match for the speed of the crimson-scaled black serpent. Very quickly, his boat was rammed and overturned by it. The moment he fell into the water, Han Sen put on his black beetle armor. He couldn't have done it before, because if anyone saw, his identity as gold coin would be exposed. But once he was in the water, it was perfectly fine. Han Sen swam as fast as a speedboat, but the others weren't so lucky. There were 34 people at the start. Now only 7 were left, barely clinging to life. Seeing this, Luo Tianyang flashed a satisfied smile. "Son of God, it looks like that crimson-scaled black serpent is full now. We can probably cross the river now without much danger." Showing no shame for their horrific actions, the whole group began to cross the river. On the other side, Son of God found what he was looking for, the eggs of a god-blood creature. And what's more, there were 2 of them. Just the thought of his god-blood gene points about to skyrocket was enough to make him grin from ear to ear. They wanted to take the serpent eggs and leave quickly. But that crimson-scaled black serpent wasn't about to let humans touch its children so easily. It rose from the riverbed once more. Son of God drew his sword and charged forward. Behind him, Luo Tianyang and his other followers rushed up to provide support. They threw 2 unfortunate mercenaries into the monster's mouth and fled. Son of God thought that was the end of it, but unexpectedly on his way out, his path was blocked by Han Sen. To be precise, it was Han Sen in his gold coin identity who blocked his path. Son of God was so happy holding the god-blood creature's eggs that he was beaming. Caught off guard, he was ambushed with a punch that made him see stars. Han Sen caught the 2 eggs and took off. Outsmarted by Han Sen yet again, Son of God could do nothing but scream curses. On the other hand, Han Sen was ecstatic, because although he was lucky to escape the river monster's jaws, he never imagined he would get his hands on something this good. However, as he was fleeing, Han Sen's path was blocked by a great serpent. It seemed the crimson-scaled black serpent wasn't the only one here. In front of him was a monster, and behind him, Son of God's group was in hot pursuit. Han Sen was cornered once again. A wicked idea popped into his head. Han Sen focused his strength and cracked one of the eggs. Then he threw it to Son of God. "Catch! One for each of us! Let's put our feud aside for now and team up against the great serpent first!" Son of God instinctively caught the egg. But he had no desire to team up with Han Sen. He wanted to take his life. Blinded by hatred, Son of God completely failed to notice that the egg was cracked. It wasn't until Luo Tianyang called out to him. But at that very moment, the great serpent went berserk and lunged at him. Son of Heaven had to use all his strength to fend it off. Seizing the opportunity, Han Sen managed to escape. He returned to steel armor shelter in high spirits. Gold coin had buried 2 of Son of Heaven's sacred blood beast souls. It doesn't take a genius to know how furious he must be. After eating that egg, Han Sen's sacred blood geno points had increased by 13. He was very strong now, but the moment he stepped into steel armor shelter, Han Sen came face to face with his next problem. "It was Qinshuan. You're quite good at hiding. I haven't seen your face for 2 weeks. Did you really think I'd let you off the hook?" Having followed Son of Heaven's group for almost 2 weeks, Han Sen had completely forgotten that Qinshuan had sworn to settle the score with him once he got back to the shelter. The moment he saw Qinshuan, Han Sen's face went pale. He originally thought she would drag him out in front of a crowd to beat and scold him, but unexpectedly this girl was quite honorable. The place Qinshuan dragged Han Sen to was the combat room. Here the two would fight one-on-one. If Han Sen won, Qinshuan promised to never bother him again. But Han Sen felt this was a raw deal. Qinshuan's sacred blood geno points were almost maxed out. Plus, she had trained in the military for so long. She also possessed countless high-level beast souls. Asking him to fight her was like telling him to just surrender. "Neither of us will use beast souls in this fight. If you can take 50 of my moves, then we'll consider this matter settled." That sounded much more reasonable, so Han Sen agreed. He refused to believe he couldn't even handle 50 moves from a girl. Qinshuan stepped back and got into a stance. "You go first." As soon as she finished speaking, Han Sen rushed forward and landed a punch right on her face. He really didn't know how to treat a lady. Qinshuan staggered back a few steps and cursed. You despicable bastard!" Seeing her looking so disheveled, Han Sen frantically apologized. He had only wanted to end things quickly and get out of there. That's why he had struck so quickly. She hadn't even had time to fully prepare. Qinshuan wiped the blood from her nose, stood up straight, and was about to speak again. But before she could even get a curse out, Han Sen gifted her another punch. This time, it definitely wasn't unintentional. An opportunity this good, of course, had to be seized. Qinshuan's rage reached its peak. She charged at Han Sen and began unleashing a flurry of punches and kicks. The true strength of someone trained in the military was on another level. Plus, getting sucker punched twice only fueled her fury. She beat him until Han Sen could only cry and admit he was wrong. In the end, Han Sen took the full brunt of all 50 moves Qinshuan dished out. She didn't hold back at all, so when he returned, his face was swollen and bruised. This fight also made Han Sen realize his own strength was still that of an ant. It seemed he still had to train hard to become stronger. As for Qinshuan, after getting her revenge, her mood improved a little. However, she couldn't stop thinking about those 2 punches. After taking a shower, she went to re-watch the video of the fight. In her eyes, Han Sen's fist-fighting and close combat skills were truly terrible. However, those 2 explosive punches had been completely unexpected. At that moment, Han Sen had struck without any hesitation, as if he had transformed into an assassin. When he threw a punch, it was with his full power. This made it impossible for Qinshuan to connect him with the usual stupid and clueless-looking Han Sen. Always putting on a disguise, then suddenly a one-hit kill? No, he's just a recent graduate. How could he be an assassin? Are his skills a natural talent, or did he get them through training? Qinshuan was extremely curious. But no matter what, in her eyes, Han Sen was still a degenerate pervert, and she swore she would never forgive him. After a good night's sleep, Han Sen decided to take some extra classes. He went to the training center, which was divided into beginner, intermediate, advanced, and special classes. They taught everything from fist-fighting and weaponry to soft kung fu and even super geno arts. Han Sen thought for a moment, then decided to sign up for the devil possession class. The owner of the center looked him over for a moment, then asked doubtfully, "This isn't your average high-level martial art. Is your physical constitution up to par?" "Don't worry, 1 million card," Han Sen said, pulling out a card and handing it to him. In reality, after practicing the ice muscle jade bone technique, his body had become much stronger. He was also much more agile. His father had once mentioned devil possession to him. He said it was super effective for dealing with women. That was the main reason he chose this course. He hoped that after practicing it, he could deal with Qinchuan. But when he finally got the manual, Hansen was stunned to realize he had wasted 1,000,000 coins. The old man taught things like how to wrap yourself around a woman, how to lock them in a hold, how to embrace them. It was utterly shameless. If Hansen used this on Qinchuan, it would only make her think he was an even more disgusting pervert. However, 1,000,000 coins was no small amount, so Hansen decided to learn it anyway. "Qinchuan, you'd better not provoke me in the future. Otherwise, I'll definitely use you for extra practice." Hansen spent a few days at the center practicing devil possession. When he returned to his room, he really felt like he had turned into a creepy old man. He could only hope it would be effective later on. His mood was already terrible, but then Hansen saw Tongya. The beast has evolved into a mutant, which made it happy again. He would continue raising it until it became a god-blood copper-toothed beast. Besides, the god's son and his group had already given up on searching for the gold coins. It seemed to be due to a lack of clues, which was great news for Hansen. He could now move about more freely. Everything was finally falling into place. He began to study the mutant beast soul he got from Qinchuan. However, this beast soul seemed much smaller than he'd imagined. Normally, beast souls took the form of combat weapons, but the beast soul Qinchuan gave Hansen was a pet type. More importantly, this little black cat was tiny, and it was unclear if it had any combat power at all. Hansen wanted to test it out, so he summoned the three-eyed black cat. It faced off against the three-horned scaly beast before him. His pet beast charged forward eagerly, but before it could even attack, it was sent flying back by the three-horned scaly beast. The test was a failure. Clearly, even though it was a mutant pet beast, it was completely useless. Well, actually, it did have a use. It knew how to meow and act cute. Hansen realized Qinchuan had totally played him. But now wasn't the time to settle that score. For today's hunt, he would have to rely on himself again. For the next few days, Hansen continued to hunt. And of course, he had to do it all by himself, because that mutant three-eyed black cat was no help at all. It even ate more than he did. Normally, beast souls didn't need to eat or drink. If they were injured, you just had to recall them into your soul space to rest for a short while, and they would heal automatically. However, although this cat was no help in hunting, it was at least some amusing company for Hansen. So, he decided to keep it, and gave it a name, Meow Jesty. While Hansen and Meow Jesty were eating freshly roasted creature meat, a desperate cry for help suddenly echoed nearby. It was another ability user who was also out hunting. As soon as Hansen saw what was chasing the man, he also took off running for his life. The man, seeing this, cried out in despair, begging him, "Hey, brother, don't run! I can give you money. However much you want, I'll give it to you." It sounded tempting, but Hansen wasn't a fool. The things chasing that guy were savage beasts. Just one of them was enough to trample him to death, you know? And over there was a whole herd of them. Hansen ran to a large cliff, quickly grabbed onto a vine, and scrambled up to safety. The other man begged him to pull him up. Hansen did the good deed and finally pulled him up just as the herd of savage beasts arrived. The two of them panted heavily from exhaustion. Although they were safe for now, they still had to wait until that herd of savage beasts left before they could get down. "Friend, what on earth did you do to lead a whole herd of 100 rampaging savage beasts after you like this?" The man took out a pack of cigarettes, lit one, and offered one to Hansen. Hansen recognized at a glance that this brand was very expensive. The man's status was clearly not ordinary. He took a cigarette and started smoking. "I was in a hurry to get somewhere, and my beast soul was killed. I was so hungry I thought I was gonna die, so I went looking for a small savage beast. By the way, brother, what should I call you?" Hansen introduced himself. The other man said his name was Lin Beifeng, then asked how far it was from here to Glory Shelter. "If you're asking about the armored shelter, it would take a few days to get there. As for that Glory Shelter you mentioned, I have no idea." Hearing Hansen's reply, the man seemed quite surprised. It looked like he had also wandered into the territory of another shelter. He then spoke up to reassure Hansen, saying that once he returned to his own shelter, he would definitely pay him in full. "All right then. But before that, it looks like we'll have to enjoy each other's company for a while," Hansen said as he looked at the herd of savage beasts, which showed no sign of leaving. Lin Beifeng chuckled, then asked Hansen if he had any food or water. His hunt had failed, so he hadn't eaten anything yet. Hansen took out a cup of plain water and a piece of dried meat. "Water is 10,000 a cup. Dried meat is also 10,000 apiece. Lin Beifeng seemed a bit surprised that Han Sen was charging such an exorbitant price, but Han Sen didn't even flinch. After all, where there's demand, there's supply. Lin Beifeng then whined and begged him to put it on a tab. He promised he could pay 4 times the amount after returning to the shelter. And so they ate and slept on the cliff for several days. That herd of savage beasts was as stubborn as mules. Not a single one would leave. Lin Beifeng was starting to lose his patience, but Han Sen was even more worried because the food and water he brought would only last a few more days. If this kept up, they'd starve to death. He came up with an idea, to climb to the top of this mountain, to get to the other side. Han Sen was more agile than Lin Beifeng, so he volunteered to scout ahead. "Brother Sen, be careful! Don't leave me behind!" Han Sen finally reached the top of the mountain. He never would have dreamed that the first time he used his devil's transformation would be to climb a cliff. Still, the feeling was pretty exciting. However, when he reached the top, Han Sen saw a giant egg. A chill ran down his spine. Just what kind of creature could lay an egg this huge? A creature that could build its nest in a place like this, suspended between heaven and earth, couldn't be ordinary. It might even be a god-blood beast. Han Sen poked a hole in the eggshell and started drinking. It turned out this was the egg of a divine storm bird. However, just eating the egg wouldn't grant any god-blood genes. You had to eat its flesh to gain even 1 god-blood gene point. Han Sen was ecstatic. He quickly drank the entire egg dry before the mother bird could return. Down below, the herd of savage beasts had finally decided to disperse. Lin Beifeng let out a sigh of relief. Just then, Han Sen climbed back down. Seeing the sudden bulge in Han Sen's stomach, Lin Beifeng made a ridiculously clueless remark. "Brother Sen, are you pregnant or something?" Han Sen was speechless, so he explained how he'd accidentally found the Storm Divine bird egg. He had also saved a cup for Lin Beifeng, who was starving and was now being offered the egg of a god-blood creature. So how could he dare complain? He drank it all in one gulp. See, I wasn't lying, was I? It's a bit of a shame I didn't get any god gene points, though. After finishing the cup of the Storm Divine bird egg, Lin Beifeng grabbed Han Sen's hands and shook them vigorously, saying over and over that he was such a good person for sharing the egg of a god-blood beast with him. It was truly touching. Lin Beifeng also kept repeating that after he returned, he would repay Han Sen tenfold, whether with money or anything else. Seeing him being so enthusiastic, Han Sen couldn't help but give him a reminder. "Young Master Lin, my reputation in this steel armor shelter isn't very good. You'd be better off keeping your distance from me." "Who do you think I am?" Lin Beifeng immediately replied. "You saved my life, and you're an upright person. How could I possibly be so ungrateful? If anyone dares to be disrespectful to you, I'll teach them a lesson." Seeing that Lin Beifeng looked like he was about to pounce on him, Han Sen said, all right, we'll figure it out after we get back." Right after that, one of them returned to the steel armor shelter, and the other to the glory shelter. But Han Sen really liked Lin Beifeng's straightforward personality. He was worth befriending. After stepping out of the teleportation station, he was still feeling happy about the loot from his recent hunt. Not bad. Just then, he ran into Qin Shuan. It seemed she was there waiting for him, but he decided to play dumb. "New station chief, what a coincidence." Sen, follow me," Qin Shuan ordered. After learning Devil's body transmission, Han Sen was no longer afraid of this woman, so he followed her. He was a confident man now, after all. The two of them went to the combat room again. Although he didn't know why this crazy woman was furious again, Han Sen decided he would make effective use of his 1 million yuan Devil's body transmission. Without even shouting start, Qin Shuan launched a kick. Luckily, Han Sen dodged it, but he was still alarmed. "New station chief, why did you attack before shouting start?" "I learned it from you. Aren't you the one who always attacks people when they're not ready?" It seemed this time, Qin Shuan was determined to beat Han Sen to a pulp, but he managed to catch her next kick. Qin Shuan's thigh was grabbed tightly by Han Sen, who then slammed her hard onto the ground. "Station Chief Qin, does this count as my win?" Han Sen asked triumphantly. That Devil's body transmission was really useful for dealing with women. As expected, Qin Shuan immediately flew into a rage, calling Han Sen a shameless bastard. Her anger had boiled over. She summoned her beast soul. Qin Shuan's beast soul was a fire lion. How could Han Sen possibly fight that? He turned tail and ran. "You're breaking the rules. Didn't we agree not to use beast souls?" No matter how loud he yelled, Qin Shuan had no intention of stopping. Her rage seemed powerful enough to blow away the entire steel armor shelter. Needless to say, Han Sen still lost this round. Even though Qin Shuan had indeed broken the rules, he was still inferior to her in physical attributes, close combat techniques, and experience. Han Sen had thought he'd gotten much stronger, but when faced with absolute power, he was still too weak. As for Qin Xuan, her mood wasn't much better, because Han Sen had forced her to summon her beast soul. This proved that he had become much stronger than last time. And so, in the days that followed, Qin Xuan dragged Han Sen to the combat room every single day. Although he didn't understand her reasons for doing so, Han Sen quite enjoyed training with this beautiful lady. He also wanted to improve his own combat skills. However, after every session, his entire body would be aching. Qin Xuan was indeed beautiful, but her temper was anything but gentle. "Brother Sen! Long time no see!" Today, after leaving the combat room, Han Sen ran into a familiar face. It was Shui Shi, the girl he went out with along with Zhang Danfeng and Han Hao's group. Zhu Shi was now old enough to join the shelter, so it was perfectly normal for her to be here. The two of them hadn't even exchanged more than 3 sentences when suddenly a supercar pulled up. A tall, cool-looking young man stepped out of the car. "Little sis, haven't I told you before? You should only use the teleporter when you're at home. If you use it at the public station, you're bound to be harassed by some boring pests." Seeing her brother assuming Han Sen was a harasser, Shui Shi quickly tried to explain, "Fourth brother, don't misunderstand, this is Han Sen, he's a childhood friend of mine." Seeing that the newcomer was Shui Shi's brother, Han Sen greeted him politely and extended his hand. But the other party not only refused to shake it, but also threw out a very nasty comment. "Someone like you isn't qualified to be my sister's friend. Stay away from her from now on, or don't blame me for being rude." Shui Shi looked uncomfortable with her brother's rudeness, and Han Sen wasn't pleased either, being treated like an insect the first time they met. "Are you talking to me? Looks like you didn't get the message, huh?" Shui Shi's brother sneered, then suddenly lunged forward. Han Sen realized his opponent was initiating a close-quarters fight. However, Devil's Body Transmission was the master of all close combat. Ever since he learned this skill, even Qin Xuan wouldn't dare fight him up close, yet this guy was serving himself up on a platter. Han Sen gracefully dodged his opponent's kick. Then he lunged forward, grabbed the guy by the collar with both hands, and with all his might slammed his opponent's large frame to the ground. Shui Ji's older brother couldn't help but curse. Han Sen, however, looked very pleased, just teaching the guy a lesson. Consider it a proper greeting between men. "You're so tall and strong, you should be fine, right?" After that, he didn't linger. Before leaving, Han Sen didn't forget to say goodbye to Shui Ji, saying they should get a meal together next time they had a chance. It was, of course, just a polite, empty invitation. However, Shui Ji's older brother actually took it to heart, such a special greeting gift. Oh, it would be terribly rude not to return the favor. "Shui Ji, in a few days, invite your friend over for a meal." By now, Han Sen had returned to his room at the steel armor shelter. Lately, because Qin Xuan was always clinging to him, he hadn't had time to go hunting in the mountains, so his income was too low. Therefore, Han Sen started browsing the web for a part-time job on the Extreme Night site. Although it wasn't an official website, you could still exchange intelligence and essential supplies, and it had quite a few followers. The first thing that caught Han Sen's eye was Lin Beifeng's name. He couldn't believe the guy was using his real name for transactions. On the site, Lin Beifeng was offering a high price to purchase beast souls and the flesh and blood of mutant creatures, but those items were very rare. They weren't easy to obtain, so Han Sen couldn't fulfill the request. Then, he saw another request, recruiting someone capable of single-handedly dealing with 10 primitive creatures to protect the employer during a fight. To put it simply, it was protecting a bunch of inexperienced kids on a hunt. This kind of job wasn't difficult, but it was very troublesome. Han Sen didn't really like it, but the daily wage was 10,000 yuan. Half a month of work could earn him 150,000 yuan. He was a slave to money, after all, so he immediately applied for the position. After job hunting, Han Sen continued his search for a suitable weapon. After all, his Blue Moon Crescent spear had been destroyed by that strange man last time. Han Sen quickly found a semi-alloy black samurai bow and alloy arrows. He didn't think he'd find something so good on this crappy website. What's more, this bow set had extremely high damage. The listed price should be at least 2 million yuan, but it had been posted on the forum for a long time, and still no one had snatched it up. This black samurai bow was the soul of the apocalypse. In an official store, it was a high-end item listed for up to 6,680,000 yuan. Its maximum range could reach 800 meters. Paired with alloy arrows, shooting through steel armor from 300 meters wouldn't be a problem. The only thing was, it required a standard alliance. strength level of 7.0 or higher just to draw it. With the soul of the Apocalypse's ice muscle jade bone technique, Han Sen had already raised his standard to 8.0. He had also practiced archery quite a bit, so he really liked this piece of equipment. The only issue was he was short on cash lately, so he had to consider the price carefully. Han Sen first messaged the seller offering 1 million yuan, but he didn't get a response. Just as he was worrying that his offer was too low, he received a message. The seller agreed outright and even sent a trade link. Han Sen's spirits lifted immediately. The next day, the express delivery arrived. After unboxing his new gear, Han Sen was eager to test its power. The black samurai bow was truly not to be underestimated. A single arrow could decide the fate of the world. With this weapon in hand, Han Sen felt much more at ease. The next time he encountered the Son of Heaven or a god-blood creature, he wouldn't need to risk charging them head-on anymore. 3 days later, Han Sen bought 20 new lightning attribute alloy arrows and 20 light alloy arrows. In addition to the 6 arrows that came with the bow, this was more than enough to get by out there. He went to the interview location for the job. Only then did he realize that many people had already arrived before him. Han Sen was stunned. He thought they were only hiring one person. A crowd meant complications. Han Sen began to regret coming here. While he was debating whether to just leave, a few guys recognized him. "Oh, isn't that Qin Xuan's ass licker? He's even got a bow and arrows on his back, actually looks the part. You're not here because you also accepted the job to protect those young masters on their hunt, are you? I think the young masters will be the ones protecting him. Haha." While everyone was mocking him, Han Sen saw Han Hao standing not far away, staring at him with a cold gaze. With a cold expression, Han Sen calmly faced everyone. A young master with an arrogant smile spoke up, asking, "So you're the one they call the ass freak, huh?" Shamelessly, Han Sen replied calmly, "If you think I'm unsuitable, I can leave right now." However, young Master Yuan asked him to stay. "And protect us?" Seeing this, young Master Qing tried his best to dissuade him. "A Yuan, he's a butt freak." The others in the team agreed, speaking up. "That's right, young Master Yuan. Having him protect everyone, he can't do it. I'm afraid if we actually run into danger, he'll just run faster than all of you." No matter what anyone said, young Master Yuan stuck to his decision. "I've chosen him. You guys can go recruit a few more people. Contract." Han Sen took the contract and quickly signed his name on it. Zhang Danfeng, who was walking by, intentionally bumped into him and said contemptuously, "You butt freak. You're pretty lucky to meet a young master who's both rich and kind." Unfazed, he calmly replied, "My luck has always been good." Inside the forest, the wind rose, swaying the trees. A group of people walked calmly through the quiet woods. Zhang Danfeng suddenly pointed in one direction and shouted, "Look, there's a primitive creature over there!" In the direction he pointed, the shadow of some creature did indeed flash by. Immediately, the whole group rushed forward to chase it. "Over here! Hurry up! Catch it! Protect the young master!" A hand gently touched the arrows on his back. Han Sen decisively fired an arrow. The arrow stuck straight into a tree, making everyone ask in confusion, "Hey you, where are you shooting?" After firing that arrow, he thought to himself, the Doomsday Soul truly is something else. But I just need to use a little more strength. At that moment, Zhang Danfeng approached him and said scornfully, "You can't even hit a target within 10 meters? And you dare to escort young Master Yuan?" Hearing this, he just replied, "I'm practicing." Receiving this answer from him, the guy sneered, "Practicing here with your skill level? Don't embarrass yourself like that." Han Hao appeared from nowhere and told Han Sen, "Don't tell anyone you know me." A while later, the group had arrived at a cave and were facing a monster. As for himself, Han Sen stood on high ground observing. Young Master Yuan looked at the monsters before him with excitement. "Good. 3 primitive black-spotted beasts. You guys don't need to act. We'll handle this ourselves." The men who followed to protect him heard this and replied, "Okay, then please be careful." Without hesitation, he enthusiastically attacked the monster. Watching this scene from above, Han Sen looked pleased. Actually, these rich kids have a lot of potential. They just need protection at the beginning, because they still lack a lot of experience. After many days of training, they improved quite a bit, easily dealing with the primitive creatures. A short while later, several primitive monsters had fallen to the ground. A voice full of emotion rang out, "Those who come from the Noble Academy are different. Their starting point is so much higher than someone like me who only finished standard education." On the other side, young Master Qing looked at the monsters he had taken down himself and laughed with satisfaction. "It's done! This is our achievement!" Suddenly, one of the monsters that wasn't dead opened its eyes. It quickly lunged towards young Master Ching. Han Hao, Zhang Danfeng, and another person heard the noise and turned around in shock. Young Master Yuan was also horrified to see his friend being pounced on by the monster, while young Master Ching was so scared he screamed, "A Yuan!" Suddenly, an arrow flew in from out of nowhere. It pierced straight through the monster's head, and the beast quickly collapsed, to young Master Ching's amazement. At that moment, the rest of the group suddenly rushed forward to attack it. "Damn it! You dare play dead? Die, you son of a bitch! Die!" Over here, young Master Yuan worriedly helped his friend up. "Ching, are you okay?" Young Master Ching let out a sigh of relief. "I'm fine, that scared me to death." Suddenly, that Zhang Danfeng opened his mouth and cursed at Han Sen. "You butt freak, why the hell were you shooting arrows wildly for no reason? That arrow just now almost hit young Master Ching." Han Hao also chimed in, "Yeah, do you have any idea how dangerous that was?" Han Sen remained calm as he faced the two of them, when suddenly a shout was heard. "Get lost!" Zhang Danfeng stepped in front of Han Sen, demanding he leave. "Did you hear me or not, butt freak? Young Master Yuan told you to get lost." But it seemed he had seriously misunderstood. Young Master Yuan grabbed his collar and roared furiously. "I told you all to get lost!" He pointed at Han Hao's group and scolded. "I paid you people to ensure our safety. When a Ching was in danger just now, what were you doing?" He cursed without holding back at anyone. "You did nothing. Not a single one of you reacted. And now you have the nerve to blame the only person who fulfilled his duty? People like you all deserve to die. From now on, don't let me see any of you again." Zhang Danfeng replied insolently, "Young Master Yuan, it's fine if you want us to get lost. But according to this contract, what you're doing is a breach of the terms. You have to compensate us for the remaining amount." Young Master Yuan threw the money straight at him and said, "Take it and get lost, you bunch of useless trash." Seeing the group leave, Han Sen spoke up. "Goodbye." Zhang Danfeng, bitter, snorted coldly. "Just you wait." Young Master Ching then came over to thank Han Sen. "Freak, no, thank you for saving me just now." Hearing this, he simply replied, "It's nothing. As long as you're not hurt, that's all that matters." At this point, young Master Yuan's attitude towards him had softened considerably. In the contract, his name is Han Sen, someone who can use the Doomsday Soul Bow from the H-series. His warrior strength must have reached at least the Alliance standard of 7.0 or higher. Hearing this, young Master Ching expressed his admiration. 7.0? That's amazing. Young Master Yuan has a good eye. He analyzed the way Han Sen had just acted, speculating, "What I said is still an understatement. A moment ago, he aimed perfectly on his first try. His fitness level is approximately 8.0, so he wants to befriend Han Sen. Brother Sen, let's be friends. If I make a mistake in the future, I hope you'll look out for me." He shook hands, befriending him. "Young Master Yuan, you're being too modest. From the start, you hired me because you recognized the Armageddon. I also have a high opinion of you, young Master Yuan. You may be a rich kid, but your foresight is not bad. It's rare for an employer to be able to spot that." The next day, at the shelter's gate, a crowd of people was bustling in and out. Han Sen had just returned when he was stopped at the entrance by Zhang Danfeng, who was still bitter about what had happened. He wanted to pick a fight with him. "You're finally back, ass freak. I couldn't make any money because of you. I'm really pissed off." Without hesitation, Zhang Danfeng lunged at Han Sen. "You dare ruin my livelihood. I'm going to teach you a lesson, or else you'll never learn to respect anyone." Han Hao, hidden in the crowd, saw this, and could only think to himself, "Stupid Han Sen. I can't help you out of the mess you've made." However, things didn't go as expected. Han Sen easily dodged Zhang Danfeng's attack. It startled him. What? He disappeared! Suddenly, a hand grabbed his knife-wielding hand. Han Sen slammed him to the ground and easily snatched the knife from him. He screamed out, "Ah! My hand!" This scene left Han Hao completely bewildered. "What's going on?" "He's so fast, he practically vanished. I couldn't even see how he did it." It wasn't just him. His whole gang was equally stunned. Huh? Ass Freak took down Zhang Danfeng? Impossible. Zhang Danfeng's physical fitness is at 6.7. Right now, even with his hand pinned, Zhang Danfeng was still yelling, "What are you all standing around for? Hurry up! Kill that bastard!" Finding him too noisy, Han Sen deliberately twisted his arm and warned in a cold voice, "You talk way too much." Zhang Danfeng's foolishly brave cronies actually dared to charge and attack him. "Everyone, charge! Kill him!" A flurry of slashes followed. Han Sen effortlessly swung the deadly dagger, shattering their swords with every slash he made. It left them dumbfounded. What the hell is this? Even he couldn't help but marvel at the dagger's sharpness. A high-grade alloy dagger. I can't believe Zhang Danfeng had something this good. This kind of weapon isn't cheap. It must be at least 1,000,000 yuan, maybe more. This made him quite pleased. Great. Just what I needed. As for Han Hao, he was still completely frozen by what he had just witnessed. Is this really the Han Sen I used to know? He watched Han Sen examining the dagger, his mind reeling. Didn't he used to only hunt black-armored beetles? He couldn't even kill a single primitive creature. He's supposed to be weaker than me, so how... Meanwhile, over with Zhang Danfeng, Han Sen made his intentions clear. Zhang Danfeng, a fine weapon like this is wasted on you, so I'll be taking it. It's mine now. Having acquired the nice item, he immediately turned to leave. As he was walking, a sudden shout startled him, making him stop. It was none other than Luo Tianyang blocking his path on a mount. Ass freak! You've got some serious nerve, daring to lay a hand on one of my men. Seeing his savior had arrived, Zhang Danfeng immediately started complaining. Brother-in-law, not only did he break my arm, he stole my dagger too. You have to get justice for me. Hearing his pig-headed subordinate only made Luo Tianyang angrier. He shouted, "Useless trash! All you do is embarrass me!" As soon as the words left his mouth, he quickly drew his whip, intending to teach Han Sen a lesson. This lunatic! Today, I'll show you exactly how you're going to die. Without a hint of fear, Han Sen used his newly acquired dagger to face him. As he dodged the attack, he marveled to himself, so strong. They said his physical fitness level is 9.6, and they weren't wrong. Luo Tianyang himself was surprised that Han Sen could stand up to him. He dodged it? Since when did this piece of garbage get so strong? This only strengthened his resolve to get rid of Han Sen. No, I can't let him live. And so, he raised his whip high and roared, "You've got a death wish!" However, before he could even strike, Han Sen had already pointed an arrow right at him. This horrified him. What? Even Han Hao was stunned, his jaw hanging open. Han Sen, he dares to take on Luo Tianyang? Zhang Danfeng and his gang were also blindsided by Han Sen's move. Does this ass freak have a death wish? That's Brother La, a disciple of the Son of Heaven. On Han Sen's side, things weren't easy either. He thought, holding this drawn bow is draining my stamina, but I can't afford to show an opening right now. If Luo Tianyang makes a move, I'll kill him with a single arrow. Suddenly, Qin Xuan appeared from out of nowhere and commanded, Han Sen, lower your arrow. Her presence made him wonder, Qin Xuan, what's she doing here? Qin Shen furiously pointed at Luo Tianyang and shouted, Luo Tianyang, you too! Put that whip away. Her words made Han Sen glance back. Then both of them quickly lowered their weapons. Luo Tianyang was the first to speak, trying to place the blame. Sister Qin, wait. The ass freak who harassed you before, he dared to attack me today. I have to kill him. Without saying a word, Qin Xuan suddenly struck, hitting the hand that was holding his whip. Her strike sent him sprawling to the ground. His worried teammates rushed to his side. Brother La, are you all right? She then turned and warned him, I will discipline my own people just fine. It's not for an outsider like you to stick your nose in. Then she ordered Han Sen. What are you just standing there for? Let's go, he mumbled in agreement. Huh? Oh, okay. A moment later, the two of them left under La Tianyang's furious gaze. His teammates started whispering among themselves, Qin Xuan says Meng is her man. Is that her type? The kind that falls over with a single poke? He's after her for that, isn't he? Ignoring his chattering teammates, La Tianyang cursed in anger, Damn it! I'm not letting this go so easily. Just you wait, Han Sen. The female officer followed Qin Xuan. After hearing what she said, he adamantly refused. Huh? You want me to join the God's Hand squad? No, not happening. But she insisted. Being able to use the Doomsday Soul proves your physical fitness isn't bad. You made an enemy of La Tianyang today. Without my protection, do you really think he'll just let it go? However, he still stuck to his decision. Station Head Qin, thank you for your kind offer, but I'll handle my own problems. But she continued to try and persuade him. In this entire steel armor shelter, only my God's Hand squad. Later, if you apply to a military academy, this will be a huge advantage. Hearing this, he said sadly, Who said I want to apply to a military academy? My physical constitution can't possibly reach 10. I don't meet the requirements. But of course, she didn't believe him and even tried to provoke him. Really? That's beyond an ordinary person, but for you, nothing is impossible. Xuan's words made Han Sen wonder, "What do you mean by that?" She smiled smugly and replied, "Although you don't look like anything special, you do have some real strengths. I don't care how strong you are. To me, making use of talented people is my top priority." Suddenly, he boldly asked her, "Making use of people? What about what I did to you in the past? Aren't you angry?" The moment he mentioned it, she flew into a rage, warning him, "You dare mention that again?" After calming down, she reminded him, "If you don't go to a military academy and you don't have a noble title, when you reach the age of military service, you'll just be an ordinary soldier sent to the front lines as cannon fodder." Hearing that, he smirked and asked her in return, "How do you know I can't obtain a high-ranking military position?" In his mind, he proudly schemed, "If I want to practice the ice muscle jade bone technique, I can use gene fragments to achieve a higher geno level. Then I can get a high-ranking position. I've got it all figured out." Suddenly, Xuan angrily grabbed Han Sen by the collar and shouted, "I said you can't, and that means you can't. Are you asking for a beating?" Seeing her so aggressive, he could only force a smile and comply. All right. I understand. I'll join the God's Hand Squad." At least that's what he said out loud. But in his heart, he was cursing her nonstop. Damn it, this woman has military connections. If she really decides to make trouble for me, my life will be very difficult. Later, he returned home and collapsed on his bed, wondering, "It's been days since I've gotten any rest. I'm so tired. Why is Xuan so desperate for me to join the God's Hand Squad? Is she plotting something?" Suddenly, there was a knock on his door. Han Sen went to open it and asked, "Mom, what is it?" Luo Sulan spoke softly, asking, "Little Sen, I have something to do tomorrow. Could you take Yanran to school?" Hearing this, he smiled and asked, "Yanran is starting school already?" "Which one?" She replied gently, "You've been so busy at the shelter I haven't had a chance to tell you. With the money from before, I enrolled her in St. Paul." Knowing his sister was enrolled in a good school, he was quite happy. "Really? Besides the noble schools on our planet Luoja, St. Paul is the best. Go take care of your business first, Mom. I'll take her to school tomorrow." Seeing that he had agreed, she didn't say anything more. "All right, thank you, son." The next day, Han Sen took Han Yun to school. He gently reminded his little sister, "Yanran, I hear the environment at St. Paul is very good. Try to make friends with everyone, okay?" The little girl replied shyly, I don't dare. I'm too shy." Hearing this, he gently stroked her head and said, "It'll be okay. Just be sincere and slowly get along with everyone. If anyone bullies you, just call your big brother." His care made the little girl's face light up as she replied, "Okay." A while later, at the gate of St. Paul Academy, while walking, Han Yun happened to see Han Lei's family. "Is that big brother over there? And that's second uncle, right?" The little girl innocently asked, "He's holding a little boy. The one next to him is his aunt, right, brother?" Han Sen replied slyly, "I don't know either. This could be interesting." Han Lei, who was taking his son to the academy, also happened to see the two siblings. "Why are you two here?" Han Sen replied in a serious tone, "Bringing Yanran to school." Hearing him say that, the man angrily handed the small child to the woman beside him and began to scold him. "St. Paul's tuition is very expensive, at least a few million. Your father controlled the company for so many years. He must have made a fortune from it," he continued, pointing a threatening finger at him. "Let me tell you that money belongs to the Han family. It must be split evenly. If not, don't blame me for getting nasty." Han Sen wasn't afraid at all and retorted with a dangerous smile, "Second uncle, haven't you read the contract? It's written very clearly in the contract that the 2 million has been paid. Don't even think about getting a single cent from our family." These words made the man furious. "That was fraud. It doesn't count. When I get back, I'm going to go find your mother." Han Sen calmly warned him back. "Second uncle, you shouldn't do that. I have the right to beat you to death." Han Lei's rage boiled over, and he lunged forward to hit Han Sen. "What did you say, you little brat?" Seeing this, Han Yun screamed in fear, "Don't hit my brother!" Calmly, he easily blocked the man's fist and then gently tossed him to the ground. Next, he warned the man in a cold voice, "Second uncle, if you're that tired of living, well, you can come over to my place and try some, it's fine." Seeing how majestic he was, Han Yun looked at him with admiration. "You're so cool, big brother." The woman who witnessed this scene quickly scooped up her crying child and left. "Son, don't be afraid. Mom will take you to school first, then I'll call the police to arrest him and let him rot in jail." Suddenly, Han Sen sat down and took out a camera. He took out his mini camera. "That woman's not bad looking either. That little kid is cute, too. If second auntie saw this, Uncle, what do you think she'd do? Seeing this, Han Lei was startled and panicked. Did you record all of that? The terrified man reached out to snatch the camera. You psycho! Delete it now! However, before he could do anything, the boy grabbed his hand and threatened him menacingly. We're all family here. Let's negotiate a bit. If you give me 2 million yuan, second uncle, I might consider deleting it. Even at this point, the man was still stubborn. In your dreams. Of course, the boy gave him no chance to refuse. He twisted the man's arm and growled, transfer the money. Right here, right now. And so the man had no choice but to do as he was told. Okay, I'll do it. Not long after, the boy received the 2 million yuan. After getting the money, Han Sen immediately took Han Yun to school, not forgetting to warn Han Lei, second uncle, I'll delete the video, but it depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Also, don't come to my house looking for trouble, or you'll pay the price. And with that, he left. It was only a while after he left that the man finally dared to get angry and curse, Han Sen, you damn bastard! He looked at the hand that had just been twisted and wondered in confusion. Since when did he get so strong? It's like he's a different person. Later, after taking his sister to school, Han Sen walked along, wondering to himself, being harassed by second uncle, making Yan Yan late for school. I wonder if I scared her. She started speaking more cautiously after that. Feeling guilty, he sighed and reminded himself to restrain his violent tendencies in front of Yan Yan. She's still too young. As he was walking, he happened to stop in front of a building, and he made a decision. The Physical Fitness Assessment Center. I've practiced the art of the Doomsday Soul a few times. I wonder if my strength has increased at all. I'll just head inside for now. In the lobby of the Physical Fitness Testing Center for the Unevolved, someone was waiting for his turn. That person was Zhao Boshan, and he was anxiously waiting for his test. Man, that was terrible. But I wasn't giving it my all. I'll just try again. I have to get an AA rating. He encouraged himself to become a starship captain. I have to keep working hard. Let's go! Seeing that someone was using the room, he felt a bit disappointed. Someone's using it, but I specifically chose a place with fewer people. To kill time while he waited, he decided, let's see who nabbed the room while I wasn't here. Watching the person inside the test, he was a little surprised. What? He's using a beast soul to pass through the robot gauntlet? Then he started calculating. For someone who hasn't evolved, passing 60 meters is standard, 70 meters is satisfactory, 80 meters is excellent, 90 meters is high grade, and passing 1,000 meters is super grade. The person Zhao Boshan was evaluating based on the data was Han Sen. I've passed 76 meters. This guy using a beast soul should be able to clear 80 meters at most. At that moment, inside the room, Han Sen was effortlessly taking down countless simulated robots. This scene stunned Zhao Boshan. What? What's more, the boy's results screen was even more incredible, as he easily achieved an SSS composite rating with a time of 7.88 seconds. This left him bewildered, wondering to himself, no way, to clear it on the first try and in such a short time? That's horrifying. Who is this person? Absolutely incredible. However, when he looked back into the training room to see who it was, he didn't see anyone inside. Damn it, where'd he go? He was just there a second ago. The bewildered expression remained on his face. The next day, the video of Han Sen's training was posted on the forums, earning everyone's admiration. Have you seen it yet? That forum post is blowing up. 7.88 seconds. Violent Angel tramples the robot gauntlet. I'm shook. Ah, that's B-God. They chattered excitedly. That's right, it's him. But God is on another level. Hey, now that you mention it, isn't he the one who stole the Son of Heaven's beast soul? Without that beast soul, he's nothing. He just got lucky, that's all. Oh yeah? If you're so tough, why don't you go steal one yourself, buddy? Meanwhile, at a seaside villa, a voice called out. Zhenliu, get over here and look at this! Tang Zhenliu, wiping away his sweat, walked over and asked, What's up, Liu Feng? I just finished training and was about to take a shower. But as soon as he saw the video, he exclaimed in shock. Holy shit! 7.88 seconds SSS-Rank? What the hell is this guy? Liu Feng explained. The person who posted the video didn't see his face, but based on the analysis, aside from his god genes, all of this person's other gene points are maxed out. They also think he cultivates a hyper-geno art, and on top of that, the armor he's wearing is definitely a god-blood beast soul. Hearing this, Tang Zhenliu's curiosity was piqued. He has everything he needs like that. I need to know who he is, right now. He then declared bitterly, "I've worked so hard, waiting for those freaks to enter the second god's sanctuary. If this bastard dares stand in my way of becoming and chosen, I'll have to eliminate him." Liu Feng gently reminded him, "But he's already accomplished so much. His background must be something special. He might even be connected to the military. Do you really think you can afford to offend him?" Being reminded like that, Tang Zhenliu felt a bit awkward. He cleared his throat and replied, "Hey, come on. It's not like that. I just let my anger get the better of me, that's all. Don't be so serious." Liu Feng ignored him, his mind still reeling over the identity of the person in the video. "But I'm still curious about his background, with that kind of power. He must have a huge influence on the shelter." 2 days later, at the teleportation station, Han Sen, the man from that viral video, was following a station employee. As he walked, he grumbled to himself, "I was only gone for a few days, and Qinchuan already called me back here. I'm supposed to be a real man, but in front of her I feel like a little boy." He recalled the day she called him back and gave him an earful. "Stop running all over the place all the time. You're my man now. I have the right to know your whereabouts." He had tried to argue back then, "I wasn't just running all over the place. Something came up at home." But she quickly cut off his explanation. She ordered him to forget the explanation, find Yang Manli, and join the God's Hand team. Hearing this, he immediately showed his reluctance. "Huh? Do I still have to? What a pain." Of course, she didn't care whether he liked it or not. She just warned him, "I'm heading to Starry Group. You'd better have this done before I get back." Hearing her say that, he became curious. "Starry Group? Isn't that where the Son of Heaven is?" He wondered to himself. "And my father's death is connected to them. Why would Qin Xuan cooperate with them?" Qin Xuan didn't answer Han Sen's question, only turning back to remind him. "Do you understand? My intention is for you to join the God's Hand team. Under my watch, he won't dare to touch you." Hearing this, all he could do was chuckle and say, "Station Chief Qin, you're really too kind. Thank you." Back in the present, as he thought about everything Qin Xuan had done for him, he confidently assumed, "She's protecting me. Could it be that she likes me? Heh, I am the one with a god-blood creature after all. And hypergenoarts. My fitness index has even reached 9.1. Just then, the guide opened a door for him and invited him inside. "We're here." As soon as he stepped inside, Han Sen spoke up to greet her. "Hello, Station Chief Qin told me to come find you to report for duty." Seeing him, Yang Manli asked, "So you're Han Sen?" She stated coldly, "You're 10 seconds late." Han Sen explained awkwardly, I didn't mean to. The station chief just found me and gave me an earful." Hearing this, Yang Manli asked, "You're saying you're late because of Qin Xuan?" Of course, she didn't believe his flimsy excuse. "You're late, and you still make up excuses and blame others. You deserve a beating." She held out a contract to him. "Fill this form out." He didn't hesitate, replying, "Okay." As he filled it out, he wondered to himself, "What's with this woman? It's like she hates me, but I don't even know who she is." Suddenly, Yang Manli spoke in a strange, passive-aggressive tone. "You must be something special for her to accept and value you so highly." However, instead of paying attention to her words, Han Sen was paying attention to something he shouldn't be. Team leader, I can't fill this out if you keep sitting like that." That was just a thought, though. He quickly filled in the information and handed the paper back to her. "I'm done." Hearing that, she immediately gave him an order. "Tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock sharp, at the God's Hand Team training camp in the Shelter World. Remember, I don't like people who are late." As she was speaking, her communicator suddenly activated. "Manli, it's Qin Xuan. I need you to come to my office right now. Bring Han Sen with you." A short while later, they were all in Qin Xuan's office watching a video. She spoke gravely as she introduced the video to Yang Manli. "Manli, take a look. This video is causing an uproar on the forums." The moment Han Sen saw it, he panicked internally. "Isn't that me at the fitness assessment center? Who has that much time and money on their hands to record me like that? Damn it! My identity is going to be exposed!" But thank God he wasn't exposed yet, because Yang Manli still didn't recognize him in the video. "Gold coin, isn't it? This person has such high attack power. Didn't anyone see his face?" Qin Xuan, who also didn't know his identity, replied, "No, the person who recorded it only captured this part of the robot gauntlet test." Hearing that the two women still didn't know who he was, he felt a wave of relief. "Oh man, that scared me to death. Phew, what a relief." Just then, Qin Xuan began to analyze what she saw in the video. From the video, we can see that Goldcoin is wearing beast soul armor and is also cultivating some kind of advanced hypergeno art. Then she made a proposal. There's another important piece of news. The footage in the lobby of the Fitness Assessment Center. It was filmed right here on Logia Star. We need to figure out a way to find him. This person would be a huge help to us. Hearing this, Yang Manli offered her opinion. There aren't any famous, powerful families on Logia Star, nor are there any particularly strong factions. I doubt a person like Goldcoin could be nurtured here. Qin Xuan didn't seem too concerned about that. Her goal was singular. We have to try anyway. If he joins us, then even if we have a falling out with the Son of Heaven later on, as long as Fist Guy and the others join forces, we can still succeed in hunting god-blood creatures. After hearing these words, Hansen understood her true purpose. I get it now, so that's what this is about. The last time Qin Xuan saved me from Luo Tianyang, she also mentioned she was recruiting talented people. She must be looking for someone even better. With that, he quickly feigned ignorance and said, "But I heard he works alone, so he probably won't join." However, Qin Xuan wasn't too worried because she had a secret weapon to help with this. "No need to worry, we have Sister Manli's honey trap." Yang Manli replied smugly, "I don't care. I'm just afraid he's not a real man." These words from the two beauties made Han Sen's face turn pale as his mind raced with improper thoughts. No way. These two women are really treacherous. A while later, at Han Sen's shelter, he was checking on the monster he had captured and locked up in his house. Amazing, just a little more. The bronze-toothed beast is about to evolve into a god-blood creature. His heart was filled with anticipation. Now he just needed to wait patiently for a few more days. The next day, at the Divine Archery Squad's barracks, Han Sen went inside to look around. Among the people training, he happened to see a familiar face. "Hey, isn't that Su Xiaoqiao?" He then went over to strike up a conversation with him. "Su Xiaoqiao, you're in the Divine Archery Squad too?" Surprised that he was suddenly being spoken to, he asked, "Fist Guy, how do you know me?" Being asked that, Han Sen knew he'd messed up. He'd forgotten. I usually deal with him under the identity of Goldcoin, so he quickly made up a story to cover his tracks. "How could I not know? You were the first person to call me Brother Coin after all." Hearing him say that, Su Xiaoqiao laughed heartily with delight. "Am I that famous? If I hadn't called you that, would Brother Coin be as famous as he is now?" After that bit of banter, he then asked Han Sen, "My friend, why did you join the Divine Archery Squad? The training here is really tough." Han Sen wasn't afraid to answer honestly. "I don't know if it's hard or not, but I think a bow has a long range, so I don't have to risk my life fighting up close." Hearing him say that, the other man agreed, but didn't forget to warn him. "I thought so too, but it's better to be careful. That Yang Manli is a sadistic woman." Having found an ally, Han Sen chimed in, "I met her earlier. She really is." Before he could finish his sentence, Yang Manli's voice rang out, startling them both. "What are you two doing, huh?" Her sudden appearance, radiating a murderous aura, made Han Sen's heart leap into his throat as he silently cursed Yang Manli, while Su Xiaoqiao panicked, "Oh crap, I'm dead meat." A volley of arrows was fired fiercely into the target. Su Xiaoqiao yelled in terror, "What? Training with a 7.0 bow? 1,000 arrows each?" Yang Manli glanced at them both and warned in a stern voice, "You can only leave when you're finished. If you dare to gossip like that again, just wait and see how I deal with you." Her ruthlessness made his face turn pale with fear as he begged, "Oh my God, is she trying to kill me? My strength is only 7.0. Leader Yang, we were wrong. Please forgive us." Just then, Han Sen spoke up to reassure him, "Don't be so desperate. She's not here anymore. We'll just train half-heartedly, she won't know." But instead of calming him down, his words made him even more panicked. "Brother, you're too naive. That psycho Virgo has people specifically assigned to watch us. Stepping over the line doesn't count, and missing the target doesn't count. You can't be short a single one of these 1,000 arrows." Hearing that, Han Sen just chuckled and said, "Well, then we have to shoot. There's no time limit, right?" At the same time, he placed a hand on his shoulder. "Remember this. A persistent man is a good thing." For Han Sen himself, with a strength of 9.1, a 7.0 was nothing. The training really wasn't hard. Su Xiaoqiao might not believe it, but if he tried, he would become even stronger. A while later, while the two were training, all the others had gone home. They didn't forget to tease the two. "Xiaoqiao, Fist Guy, train hard, okay? We have to go hunt a godblood creature tomorrow. You two don't stand a chance." Hearing that, Su Xiaoqiao asked with curiosity, "A godblood creature? I didn't know about this. One of the guys in the group replied smugly, Son of Heaven's group found it. They called us to team up and take it down. Hearing this, Hansen wondered to himself, Son of Heaven. Could it be that Qin Xuan negotiated this with Starry Group? Suddenly, Liu Hongtao appeared out of nowhere and shouted sternly, That's enough nonsense! Get back to training! As soon as he saw him, Su Xiaokao went to plead for a bit of leniency. Vice Leader Liu, could you please put in a good word for me with Leader Yang? Let me go with you all tomorrow. But of course, he was coldly rejected. Do you think this is a food market where you can bargain? Then he turned to berate Han Sen. And you! Don't think that just because you got in here on Captain Qin's coattails, you can just run wild in the Divine Archery Squad. Our squad isn't a place for trash. Before leaving, he left a final warning for both of them. Leader Yang said you have to shoot 1,000 arrows, not a single one less. Don't even dream of going anywhere before you're finished. Model. Annoyed by his insults, Han Sen returned to his practice. We can't slack off. The rules of the Godly Archer Squad are this strict. Su Xiaokao grumbled in protest. Bullshit. That Liu guy usually gets a lot of money from us. He's just putting on an act. Then he turned to warn him. Brother, he has it out for you. This made him wonder. A grudge against me? Why? He lowered his voice, revealing some gossip he'd picked up. Liu Huangdao seems to have a thing for team leader Yang. He's always sucking up to her. He probably knows she's not happy with you, so he's giving you a hard time on purpose. Hearing this, he felt helpless. He's treating me like this, just for that. That lunatic. Han Sen didn't say another word and picked up his bow. He aimed and shot, while reassuring Su Xiaoqiao. I dragged you into this. But don't worry. He fired an arrow. Just as it hit the bullseye, his firm declaration rang out. Tomorrow, we're still going to hunt that godblood creature. Seeing the arrow hit the bullseye, Su Xiaoqiao yelled in amazement, Holy crap! 150 meters! You're a beast! Meanwhile, Han Sen easily fired off his next shots, thinking to himself, This 7.0 practice bow is much lighter than the soul of the apocalypse. Continuous shooting isn't hard. It's much easier once you grasp the principle. And so, he unleashed a volley of arrows, and every single one hit the target. This completely blew Su Xiaoqiao's mind. 40 arrows in a row with that kind of accuracy. You're a monster. A few onlookers couldn't believe their eyes. Holy crap! With hand speed like that, he must have been single for 30 years. Isn't that the butt freak? Am I seeing things? They immediately crowded around him, buzzing. He's only using his right hand. He hasn't switched at all, and his strength shows no signs of weakening. That's right, he hasn't weakened at all. This guy must have some secret technique. I'm actually a little impressed. However, one onlooker who wasn't enjoying the show remarked, There's nothing to be amazed about. It's not like he's going anywhere. Meanwhile, Han Sen prompted his friend, Su Xiaokao, focus. We need to finish faster. Hearing that, he immediately focused, drew his bow and fired, but didn't forget to say, Brother, if we actually get to go, you'll be my idol. Hearing that, he just laughed and declared confidently, Trust me. He started calculating in his head. At this rate, we can finish by midnight. It's not impossible. I can't miss a great hunting opportunity like this. Meanwhile, in the observation room, Yang Manli was monitoring both of them. She thought to herself, So it really is Han Sen. He's definitely capable. It seems Qin Xuan chose the right person. But even so, she confidently affirmed, whether you get to stay is up to you. The room was now filled with arrows, some stuck firmly in the targets, while plenty of others lay scattered about, lonely on the floor. Su Xiaoqiao knelt dejectedly, whining with a miserable look on his face. We actually finished all 2,000 arrows before dawn. You shot most of them, but both my arms are dead. Han Sen glanced at the pile of arrows on the table, then squeezed Su Xiaoqiao's shoulder. Remember to put some ointment on that. Don't let it affect tomorrow's hunt. Su Xiaoqiao jumped up joyfully, grabbing Han Sen's shirt. Brother Sen, you're a true man. If I were a girl, I'd fall in love with you for sure. Hearing this, Han Sen replied with a deadpan expression, Thank God you're not. Han Sen suddenly remembered something. He scratched his chin and asked Su Xiaoqiao, That reminds me, did you manage to find out what kind of god-blood creature we're hunting tomorrow? What should we prepare? With a confident look on his face, Su Xiaoqiao grinned smugly and pointed to the sky. Don't you worry. I just did some recon this morning. In this world, there's nothing money can't solve. He recalled secretly bribing Yang Manli's assistant. Su Xiaoqiao said confidently, Yang Manli's assistant told me. It's apparently a god-blood creature that I can fly. Han Sen looked slightly stunned. He glanced at Su Xiaoqiao and asked, "It can fly. Then it won't be easy to hunt." Su Xiaoqiao put his hands on his hips and replied confidently, "Exactly. Few people in that Son of Heaven squad can use a bow, so they desperately need our help." Han Sen rested his chin on his hand, frowning in thought. This is going to be difficult. Normal alloy arrows won't be enough. Looks like I'll have to buy a new Z-steel arrowhead. Late at night, with the moon high in the sky, Han Sen was still in his room, sitting in front of a glowing computer screen. Z-steel is a new type of metal. Its toughness and ductility are far superior to ordinary steel. His fingers tapped continuously on the keyboard as he thought, once Z-metal is added to an alloy, the weapon's durability increases significantly, but the market price is too high. I can't afford it with the money I have left. His eyes were glued to the screen as he thought, the body of the Soul of the Apocalypse bow only contains 0.4%, and the bowstring barely has 0.5%. For an arrowhead, the percentage needs to be in the double digits at least. On the computer screen, an image showed a rectangular sea blue gem and a shapeless dark red stone. He let out a surprised, "Huh?" On the screen was a picture of an arrowhead with a note below. Z-steel content 1.2%, price 300,000, custom job. If interested, contact 213-300987. Han Sen cheered with delight. This one will do. The price is reasonable. I should go negotiate. In the red light district, Han Sen went inside alone. The area was incredibly noisy, with girls in skimpy two-pieces constantly calling out to him. Han Sen kept his head down, pretending not to notice their calls. He thought, this arrowhead seller sounds pretty weird. On the phone. So this is the place. Back then, while sitting in front of his computer, he took out his phone and called the number. Han Sen asked if the man could have someone deliver it. The voice on the other end replied, "If you want to buy it, you have to come get it yourself. I'll give you the address." Far in the distance, behind a door, a mysterious arrow seller wearing a face-covering hood, and a long cloak was waving at him. Han Sen figured that had to be the mysterious arrow seller. The man confirmed if he was the buyer. Han Sen replied, "That's right." The arrow seller then opened a box revealing a brightly shining arrow. It glittered with a golden light for Han Sen to inspect. The man introduced it. "This arrow is handmade by me. You can test it first. If you're satisfied, we can make the trade." Han Sen observed the glittering golden arrow in his hand. He assessed it. Good balance, decent craftsmanship. He took out a knife, looked at the arrow seller, and asked, "Mind if I try to cut it?" When the arrow seller saw Han Sen's knife, he smiled and said, "A steel slasher blade series knife. Go ahead, slash away." With the seller's permission, he quickly brought the blade down hard on the arrow. The arrow was completely unharmed, but the knife in his hand was chipped. Han Sen looked at the arrow in his hand and said, "The blade of my steel slasher is chipped. The arrow doesn't even have a scratch. This must have a Z-steel content of at least 0.7%. Good stuff, I'll take it." Hearing this, the arrow seller looked extremely smug. He boasted, "It's crafted from the steel bearings of a star-class warship. The standard Z-steel content is 1.2%. Besides, my craftsmanship isn't something a machine can replicate. It's beyond compare." Han Sen handed the money to the arrow seller. He said, "I was a bit skeptical at first, but now I have no doubts. Thanks, boss." The arrow seller tucked the money into his cloak and said to him, "If you need anything next time, just look for me." The next day, at the entrance to the god's sanctuary, a large, noisy crowd was gathered outside. Luo Tianyang spotted someone and immediately spoke up. "Son of Heaven, look! That lunatic showed up too." Hearing this, Son of Heaven glanced at Luo Tianyang and thought, "You dare follow Qin Xuan here? Just wait and see how I'm going to kill you." Leading the group was Qin Xuan, followed by Han Sen, Su Xiaoqiao, and Yang Manli. Son of Heaven stepped forward to shake Qin Xuan's hand. He said, "Qin Xuan, we need to cooperate well this time, to successfully hunt the god-blood creature." Qin Xuan replied, "Of course, my archer squad won't disappoint you. Let's go." Luo Tianyang suddenly came up to Han Sen, grabbing his arm. In a mocking tone, he said, "Since when does the archer squad recruit useless trash?" Qin Xuan glared at him, her expression sharp, and said, "Luo Tianyang, you have a terrible memory. I seem to recall telling you he's one of my people, no?" Seeing that Qin Xuan was displeased, Son of Heaven put a hand out to stop Luo Tianyang. He said, "Luo Yang, what are you doing? Don't make things difficult for Qin Xuan." Luo Tianyang replied, "Okay, Son of Heaven." Although he had been warned, Luo Tianyang still shot a contemptuous look at Han Sen, sneering, You're just a piece of trash hiding behind a woman. Han Sen heard everything but remained silent, watching Luo Tianyang's retreating back. Su Xiaoqiao came up to him and said, "Brother Sen, that madman? That—" Han Sen cut Su Xiaoqiao off. With a blank expression, he said, "He's just a dog that can't bite. Don't waste your time on him." After the two parties met up at a place with a winding stream and rugged, treacherous mountains, Son of Heaven stood on a rocky outcrop, hands on his hips, and said, "We've arrived. This is the place." Qin Xuan scanned the surroundings and said, "I'll send my people down to lure the god-blood creature out. All you have to do is follow the plan." Son of Heaven looked at her and replied, "No problem." Behind him, Luo Tianyang waved his hand, signaling for something. Son of Heaven crossed his arms, speaking confidently, "Team Leader Yang, this is a gift I specially prepared for the Archer Squad. 100 Starlight arrows, each with a Z-Steel content of 1%. You can distribute them to your subordinates." Luo Tianyang opened the arrow case with a boastful expression. Son of Heaven pointed at Han Sen and commanded in a booming voice, "Except for him." Yang Manli angrily stepped forward to confront Son of Heaven. "Why not Han Sen? He's a member of the Archer Squad, too." Faced with her questioning, he smirked and replied, "Oh, really? Since we're the ones providing the Starlight arrows, don't you think we should be the ones to decide who gets to use them?" Hearing him say that, Yang Manli could only accept his unreasonable demand. "Ah, of course, since you are the one in charge of this operation. We will follow your command." She commanded, "Liu Huangdao, come here. Take these and distribute them to the top 5 from our last test. Each person gets 20 arrows. As for the rest of you, don't feel bad. Our own arrows are just as good as their Starlight ones. We don't need to rely on their equipment." Yang Manli thought with a contemptuous expression, "It looks like Son of Heaven is targeting Han Sen no matter what. He's not even showing me any respect. The look on that bastard's face is disgusting. I just want to slap him senseless." Luo Tianyang then shouted to everyone, "Don't just stand around. Get moving according to the plan. Prepare the ambush. The elite members of the team get first pick of positions." Everyone looked at him and replied, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir." Standing on the outcrop, Luo Tianyang looked down at Han Sen and Su Xiaoqiao and ordered, "You pieces of trash, what are you doing standing so close? Move back a little." Su Xiaoqiao became furious. He clenched his hands into fists. "Hey, don't get so full of yourself." Han Sen immediately put a hand on Su Xiaoqiao's shoulder to calm him down. "It's all right, it doesn't matter where we stand, let's just move over there." The two of them went to hide behind a boulder and some bushes. Su Xiaoqiao complained angrily, "This is so damn frustrating. He thinks he's so damn smart. It's one thing not to give us any Starlight arrows." But he had to pick a fight too. Han Sen stared ahead, his expression unreadable. In a casual tone, he said, "It's to be expected, ever since Son of Heaven took a disliking to me." Hearing this, Su Xiaoqiao turned to him and asked, "Brother Sen, aren't you pissed? I'm so damn mad I want to punch that guy." Han Sen replied with a determined tone, "Of course I am, but don't let your emotions cloud your judgment. If you want to teach them a lesson, we just need to act. Otherwise, we'll just become a joke to them," he continued. "Just wait. What if we manage to kill the god-blood creature? And what if we're lucky enough to get a beast soul? I want to see the look on his face. He'll probably be furious." Su Xiaoqiao reminded him worriedly, "You can't do that. The people on the other side of the cliff are all with Son of Heaven. The moment the god-blood creature flies up, they'll rain splinter arrows on it." He spun an arrow in his hand dejectedly and said, "We don't even have a chance to get close." Suddenly, a loud roar echoed from the distance. Su Xiaoqiao asked fearfully, "What was that sound? It's terrifying." From the cliffs, a large purple dragon took flight. Someone shouted in amazement. Station Head Qin and the others lured it out. "Oh my God! It's the purple feathered scaled dragon!" Yang Manli pointed at the purple feathered scaled dragon and ordered loudly, "Everyone, shoot to kill!" Dozens of archers, scattered across the cliffs, heard the command, drew their bows, and aimed at the purple-feathered scaled dragon, replying, "Yes, ma'am! Yes, ma'am! Yes, ma'am!" Hundreds of arrows flew from all directions. They shot towards the purple-feathered scaled dragon flying high above, seemingly about to take it down easily, but it simply swatted all the arrows away with its tail. The arrows that hit its body just bounced right off. Su Xiaoqiao exclaimed in shock, The splinter arrows have no effect on it. Its scales are harder than steel." Han Sen reached behind him and took out his own refined arrow. He remarked, "You just need to shoot it in the eye. Splinter arrows can only do so much." Han Sen drew his bow, aiming at the purple-feathered scaled dragon. He thought, This arrow has a Z steel content of 1.2%. It will disappear after one shot. I'll take it down in one go. Su Xiaokao heard what he said. He exclaimed in surprise, "It's useless! Oh, no wonder Son of Heaven arranged for so many people. That monster is changing direction. He's—" Before he could finish, Son of Heaven leaped from a cliff. He drew his bow and shot at the purple-feathered scaled dragon, saying confidently, "You god-blood creature are mine." His arrow flew towards the purple-feathered scaled dragon with astonishing speed. The entire arrow, glowing with a golden light, pierced through its wing, tearing the membrane. The purple-feathered scaled dragon cried out in pain. Hansen watched this and thought, "No, this isn't the time. Its defenses haven't been breached yet. I'll wait a little longer." The purple-feathered scaled dragon flew higher with one torn wing. Yang Manli was not to be outdone. She took out an arrow that shone with a silver light and said, "Son of Heaven, I won't let you take it from me." She drew her bow and shot at the purple-feathered scaled dragon. Her arrow shot forward like a rocket. The purple-feathered scaled dragon's other wing was torn by Yang Manli's arrow. The crowd cheered. The beast soul arrows of Son of Heaven and Yang Manli can be reused. Son of Heaven, riding a large leopard, ordered everyone, "Both its wings are injured. It can't fly far. After it!" Everyone immediately mounted their rides and gave chase. They replied, "Yes, sir, ambush it. Don't let it escape over here." Hansen and Su Xiaoqiao also quickly gave chase. He thought, "Damn it. I don't have a beast soul arrow or a mount. They'll catch up to it first." Su Xiaoqiao, running after Hansen, asked worriedly, "Senge, what are we doing? We'll never catch them just by running like this." Just then, Qin Xuan called out, "Hansen!" Hansen looked back in surprise. He thought, "Qin Xuan?" She came up from the cliff. She reached her hand towards him and said, "Hurry up, give me your hand." Hansen jumped up and reached for her hand. He thought, "Perfect timing." Qin Xuan easily grabbed his hand and pulled him up. Seeing this, Su Xiaoqiao called out, "Station head Qin, me too." Hansen wrapped his arm around Qin Xuan's waist. A perverted look crossed his face as he thought, "She's so slender, and her mount is really something special." Qin Xuan immediately turned to look at him with disgust and warned, "Hey, don't touch me. The only reason I'm letting you ride with me is because Manly said your archery skills aren't bad, and you could be useful to us." Hansen pouted and said, "I know, station head Qin." But deep down he thought, "Isn't it because you have a crush on me? As if I care." The crowd below looked up at the cliff, chattering amongst themselves. "It's so high. How are we supposed to climb that?" "What should we do?" "Only if we had a flying beast soul." Qin Xuan and Hansen approached Yang Manli. Qin Xuan asked, "Manli, what's going on?" Son of Heaven glanced at Hansen with an annoyed expression, thinking, "That bastard dares to ride Qin Xuan's mount." Yang Manli walked towards Qin Xuan and said, "Qin Xuan, you're just in time. That god-blood creature flew over the mountain. Even with beast soul arrows, we can't kill it. What should we do?" Qin Xuan looked up with a determined voice and said, "We have to find a way to get over there and kill it, or lure it down. Even so, our chances of winning aren't high." Son of Heaven gritted his teeth, his fists clenched in anger. "Send someone to climb up and lure it down. We'll wait here and kill it." The crowd looked up at the mountain helplessly, murmuring, "Who could possibly do that? This mountain is way too steep. You'd probably fall to your death before you even reach the top, and even if you make it up there, you'd just get attacked by that creature." Son of Heaven furiously shouted, "We've come all this way! Are you all telling me you want to give up now? Whoever dares to step up will be handsomely rewarded. Fair is fair, right?" Hearing Son of Heaven's offer, the crowd started to agree. Son of Heaven has a point. That sounds good. If we consume a lot of beast souls, our geno points could increase quite a bit. That's right. Hansen stood back, observing everything. He thought, just like when we went to kill the black-scaled great serpent, he only knows how to sacrifice others to get what he wants. Qin Xuan rubbed her wrist and said, "We're moving ahead with the plan. Anyone who wants a bigger share, follow me up there." Son of Heaven, worried, tried to stop her. "Qin Xuan, you don't need to go up there. Just order someone else to go. That's good enough." Qin Xuan ignored his advice and kept moving forward, saying, "Why order someone? I don't want to wait." Knowing he couldn't stop her, Son of Heaven shoved Han Sen's shoulder. He ordered, "You, get up there and protect Qin Xuan." His eyes were filled with killing intent as he glared at him, thinking, "You'll die on that peak." Han Sen looked back at him, confused. He thought, "What is this lunatic plotting now?" Groups of people climbed the vines, one after another. Qin Xuan led the way with Han Sen right behind her. The purple-winged scaly dragon was up above. It flapped its wings wildly, kicking up a cloud of dust. It let out a mighty roar, threatening the approaching group. It ferociously bit a man in half as he charged at it. Seeing this, the others weren't scared. Instead, they seemed energized. They charged at it with even more force. Qin Xuan looked up at the massive purple-winged scaly dragon before her and shouted a warning to everyone. "Quick, find cover and open fire!" Everyone immediately shouted to each other. "Hurry, find cover, get ready to shoot!" The purple-winged scaly dragon easily swatted them away with its tail. Hansen stood on a distant rock, drawing his bow and aiming at it. He thought, "This creature is badly injured. With so many people shooting at it continuously." He drew the bowstring, preparing to fire. He thought, "It should die soon. I just have to wait for the right moment to finish it with my Z-steel arrow." Suddenly, Son of Heaven leaped up from behind, surrounded by a dark green aura. Son of Heaven transformed into a beast god. He attacked Hansen from behind. Hansen cried out in pain. Son of Heaven laughed triumphantly. "I warned you! Today you die here." Hansen fell from the mountaintop. He desperately tried to grab onto the vine in his hand. Hansen gripped the vine with both hands as his body slammed hard against the rock face. Hansen gritted his teeth, frowning. He thought, "Ugh, that hurts." He finally stopped falling. He thought with relief, "Thank God my body's gotten stronger. Otherwise every bone would have been shattered. That Son of Heaven is such a dirty bastard, using a powerful mutant beast soul just to kill me." Hansen climbed back to the top of the mountain. He thought, "You want me dead, but I'm not that easy to kill." The purple-winged scaly dragon was surrounded by Qin Xuan on the left and Son of Heaven on the right. The people hiding behind the rocks whispered to each other, "It's surrounded. Everyone, hurry up! Move in and form a circle! Don't let it escape!" Hansen wiped the sweat from his brow. He thought, "Qin Xuan is using her beast soul too. She transformed into the golden lion. Even though my fake bloodslayer is powerful, it's not suited for this terrain." His eyes hardened. He thought, "I'll just have to wait." As the massive golden lion, Qin Xuan lunged forward and bit into the purple-winged scaly dragon's leg. It screamed in pain. On the other side, Son of Heaven also used all his strength. He repeatedly punched it in the head. The purple-winged scaly dragon struggled, breaking free from their attack. Qin Xuan reverted to her original form and charged forward, yelling, "It's about to die! Attack!" Son of Heaven also returned to his human form. He rushed forward with his sword and said, "All right, this beast will die by my blade." The two of them stabbed the purple-winged scaly dragon in the chest from the left and right. Just when they thought they had easily defeated it, it roared and threw them both back. The force of the blow sent Qin Xuan crashing into a nearby rock. She grimaced, gritting her teeth against the pain. Hansen, hiding behind a bush, saw this and cried out in worry, "Qin Xuan!" The purple-winged scaly dragon looked towards the opposite side. Someone shouted, "This creature is too strong. It's trying to fly to the opposite cliff." Hansen thought, "I can't let it escape." He quickly gave chase. He thought, "No one will get a chance to kill it if it makes it over there." Hansen looked at the purple-winged scaly dragon with a determined expression. He drew his golden bow and arrow from his back. Son of Heaven also materialized his own arrow, gritting his teeth in anger. "How dare my prey try to escape? If you want to leave, try eating my arrow first." He shot a green arrow, yelling angrily, "You damn lizard bitch, you're mine! Die!" He watched as the purple-winged scaly dragon prepared to take flight. Hansen made his decision. He thought, "Now's the time." He immediately fired the golden arrow. Even though it was fired after Son of Heaven's arrow, his arrow flew even faster. Hansen's golden arrow sped toward the purple-winged scaly dragon. With one fatal shot, Hansen took down the purple-winged scaly dragon just before it could escape. Hansen's eyes suddenly widened in shock. "Huh? What's this?" The people around them who witnessed this were also stunned and began to whisper, "Whoa, was that ass freak? Did he kill it? Ass freak killed the purple-winged scaly dragon? Unbelievable!" Son of Heaven asked in astonishment, "Why? How did his arrow hit first?" Qin Xuan, clutching her injured shoulder, looked at him with suspicion and said, "Hansen, you—" Son of Heaven angrily lunged forward and grabbed him by the collar. He questioned him, "How do you have a mutant beast soul?" Faced with the accusation, Hansen answered calmly, "I just wanted to hunt a beast soul, that's all. But my luck is just so—" He suddenly smirked and continued, "I didn't get anything at all." Qin Xuan looked at Hansen and asked, "Hansen, did you get the beast soul?" "The beast soul belongs completely to the one who dealt the final blow. If you got it, name your price." Han Sen rubbed his bruised cheek, looking innocent. Honestly, I didn't get a thing. If I had a chance to make a fortune like that, why would I pass it up? I panicked when I saw the purple-winged scaly dragon about to fly away, so I just shot. I didn't want everyone's effort to go to waste. Qin Xuan frowned, thinking, it seems like he's telling the truth. It's not easy to get a beast soul after all. Qin Xuan looked at Han Sen with a serious expression. She warned him, forget about it. For the next few weeks, don't wander around. You could get killed by Son of Heaven at any moment. When that happens, don't say I didn't warn you. Hearing this, Han Sen replied cheerfully, I know Station Head Qin. He thinks that if Qin Xuan hadn't stopped him today. Remembering your conversation with Shen Tianzi, he angrily hit you and said, you son of a bitch, you did that on purpose, didn't you? I'll cripple you today. Han Sen clutched his aching cheek in pain. Qin Xuan rushed forward, shielding Han Sen with her body. She said, stop, Shen Tianzi, if you dare touch my man. And something happens, don't blame me for it. Looking at Qin Xuan's back, which seemed to glow before him, Han Sen thought, her help. I guess it wouldn't be so bad. At night, greenhouses were surrounded by lush greenery. Han Sen, fresh from a shower, couldn't stop smiling. He said, a purple-feathered scaled dragon, a flying-type beast soul. Han Sen looked at the sparkling purple wisp of air in his hand. System announcement, hunt successful. Killed purple-feathered scaled dragon. Gained beast soul. He recalled that obtaining a beast soul is worth less than 10 Geno points when he shot that arrow. He felt lucky. That arrow had bought him some extra time. Han Sen laughed out loud while showering. A rare beast soul like this, hardly anyone in this shelter has one. I'm rich. After his shower, Han Sen came out drying his hair, still humming a tune. Han Sen looked down and said, hey, Coppertooth Beast, your Coppertooth Beast has evolved a lot. Han Sen grabbed the iron bars in front of him and cried out with joy, oh my God, Godblood, it evolved into a Godblood creature. The crystal shard really works. He happily stroked the copper-toothed beast's head. Han Sen said, 3 months. In just 3 months, the shard can raise a Godblood creature. It took Qin Xuan and Shen Tianzi years, and they still haven't maxed out their Geno points, Han Sen said with a delighted expression. At this rate, in 5 years, maybe less, I can enter the second god's sanctuary. Han Sen gripped the knife in his hand, his face filled with killing intent, and made up his mind. I'm going to cook it. After that, he went into the plaza and bought a live, primitive-class creature to bring back. Han Sen frowned, his expression serious, as he plunged the knife deep into the copper-toothed beast, thinking, the plan to raise god-blood creatures can't be delayed. Han Sen happily enjoyed the copper-toothed beast meat. He exclaimed, the taste isn't bad. System announcement, consumed god-blood meat, copper-toothed beast, gained 1 Geno point. Han Sen happily gnawed on the bone in his hand. System announcement, consumed god-blood meat from copper-toothed beast, gained 1 Geno point. Han Sen stood up and laughed loudly. That's 7 Geno points! Adding the 18 points I had before, that's a total of 25 Geno points. Han Sen walked over to the computer. He said, whatever you say, this Z-Steel arrow is a one-time use item, and it's way too expensive. I have to think about getting a beast soul arrow. Han Sen scratched his head helplessly, saying, the internet is full of useless information. What a waste of time. The Dark Swamp. The name alone sounds scary. He clicked on the text. Horror trip, crossing the Dark Swamp. Han Sen became immersed in the character's story. I was being chased by a mutant creature, one that I had never seen before. I ran for my life until I was just a few hundred miles from the steel armor shelter. A mysterious person in black was trying to escape the swamp. He continued reading. It was only then that I realized this was the Dark Swamp. There are many strange creatures here. I risked my life to fight a black stinger bee. Han Sen kept reading. Luckily, I managed to obtain its beast soul, a flying-type arrow beast soul. But just as I was about to leave... What the hell is this? I just screamed and ran for it. If I had been even a moment slower, I would have become its prey. Bees came out of nowhere and attacked. Yes, I'm sure of it. It was a mutated black stinger bee, a mutant creature. Reading this, Han Sen exclaimed with joy. Sounds good, he said happily. If I can get its beast soul, I'll become a god-tier archer. Han Sen suddenly stroked his chin. But this post doesn't mention how to get there. Going in blind is too dangerous, and it would waste a ton of time. Han Sen sighed, running his hands through his hair. No more thinking about it. I just need to do what I can for now. At night, on the rooftop of a certain building, Hansen went to meet the arrow seller. Looking at the blades lining the hallway, Hansen asked, "Hey boss, you've got a lot of weapons here. Did you make them all?" The arrow seller replied, "Of course." The seller smiled and said to him, "Young man, I didn't expect you to use that arrow so quickly. Since you're a regular customer, I'll show you something much better." In a room filled with a variety of sharp, glittering objects, a hand presented a finely crafted dagger on a silk cloth. He spoke up. "Z-Steel alloy dagger, 5%, 300,000. Hansen's eyes were fixed on the blade, a satisfied look on his face. He said, "The price is the same as the arrow from before, but the percentage of Z-Steel has increased significantly. All right, no tricks. I'll buy it." Then he pointed to the side and asked, "Hey boss, you've got a lot of things here. So why is this one blade all by itself on the wall?" On the rack, the long blade glimmered as if whispering of its hidden power. Hansen asked curiously, "It looks pretty special. What kind is it?" He smiled mysteriously and named a price. "A blade with 75% Z-Steel. Give me 100 million and it's yours." Hearing the astronomical price, he exclaimed in shock, "Are you kidding me? What kind of blade costs that much?" The arrow seller, without a moment's hesitation, pushed him towards the door and shouted, "Get out! You're not worthy of owning it." Hansen could only plead, "No, boss, don't do this." He showed no mercy, growling, "Get out!" Sweat beaded on his forehead as the door in front of him slammed shut with a decisive thud. Hansen put his hands on his hips, thinking aloud, "Unbelievable. That guy has some seriously advanced technology. How can one person forge a weapon with more than 5% Z-Steel? What was that blade anyway?" Suddenly, the phone in his pocket rang. He answered the phone coldly. "What is it?" A voice came from the other end. "Old Han, 4 p.m. tomorrow. Meet me at Sunset Bamboo Grove. I've got something cool to show you." Hansen replied impatiently. "Why be so secretive? Can't you just send a video or a picture or something?" But the person on the other end hung up after speaking. "How could I possibly do that? You have to see it in person to appreciate how cool it is." The next day, at sunset, in a luxurious villa in the Bamboo Grove, the two of them were walking down a hallway. Hansen couldn't help but ask, "What did you want me to see?" Zhang Danfeng smiled. Chatting cheerfully as he led the way, he said, "It's no fun just talking about it. I owe you a meal." He quickly led him to a room where Qin Hao was already waiting with a calm expression. Qin Hao spoke up. "I've called everyone here. Of course, I'm not going to do anything to you guys, so don't worry." Qin Hao seemed surprised to see him and said, "Brother Sen, you're here too?" He replied, "Oh, Qin Hao, you're here as well?" He was puzzled, thinking, "Strange. He called me brother." Zhang Danfeng held out his hand and said, "Well now, the man of the hour has arrived." An illusion of a tiger appeared above it, its powerful growl echoing as if to dominate everything around it. A moment later, it returned to its original form, a sword. He then asked arrogantly, "So, Old Han, what do you think of my mutant beast soul?" His eyes lit up with interest as he said excitedly, "Whoa, nice! A weapon-type mutant beast soul isn't weak at all." He threw an arm around his shoulder and laughed enthusiastically. "You bet! It even has a name! Snow Tiger Saber." Hansen didn't hold back his praise. "Not bad, that's a pretty badass name." On the outside, he smiled and congratulated him, but inwardly he sighed. Even this weirdo has a mutant beast soul. Damn, I'm so jealous. After that, Zhang Danfeng opened a box. His eyes lit up as they landed on the sharp, cold blade lying quietly in the box. "Now that I have the Snow Tiger Saber, and I don't need to use these other blades anymore. It's a huge upgrade, so don't refuse it, just take it." Hansen was taken aback and asked, "Is that a steel slicer saber? Those aren't cheap. How can I possibly accept it?" Zhang Danfeng placed the box in his hands and said generously, "We're close brothers. Why would you say that? I'm not going to use it anyway, so just take it." He hesitated, then replied, "All right then." Hansen absolutely loved the saber, thinking to himself, "He's a true friend. I'll definitely repay this kindness. My last steel slicer saber was destroyed when I was testing that arrow. This gift came at the perfect time." Han Hao sat to one side, watching the two of them laughing and joking happily, and thought, their relationship is so good. I wish I had something like that. Even though it's shameful that he relies on Qin Xuan, really shameful, if it weren't for the chance to get into the steel armor shelter, I wouldn't be this worried. Han Hao, holding something in his hand, walked up to him with a smile and began, "Brother Sen, I have something..." Before he could finish, a shout echoed from outside. "Han Hao, you little brat!" Han Hao's mother stormed in, fuming. I told you to attend President Hu's banquet. You said you had something important to do, and you came here just to hang out with this bunch? As soon as she entered, she grabbed him and started pulling him away, continuing loudly, President Hu even invited his son's friends. This is your chance to build connections with the upper class. You should be making friends with them, son. Han Hao still wanted to explain. Mom, wait, She spun around and shouted angrily. Shut up! Young Master Lin Beifeng from the Senchong group is also at today's banquet. I heard he's also at the shelter. Get over there now. Hearing this, Han Hao thought, the Senchong group, the upper class. This is a good opportunity. If I can become friends with Lin Beifeng, Han Sen is nothing. Zhang Danfeng watched this scene with dismay, then turned to him and said, Han Hao's all grown up and still controlled by his mother. He remembered what Han Hao's mother had said and couldn't help but feel annoyed. Hang out with this bunch? Is she trying to piss me off? Han Sen scratched his face, thinking deeply. Lin Beifeng. I think I've heard that name somewhere before. At the banquet, in a luxurious room, crowds of people were split into groups, chatting cheerfully. Two smiling girls approached young Master Lin to start a conversation. Young Master Lin, it's a pleasure to meet you. Could we possibly get your contact information? I'm not usually this forward. Two people from afar looked over at them and gossiped. That's the young master of the Senchong group, Lin Beifeng, right? Their ancestors must have done a lot of good deeds. For them to be that lucky, what else could it be but luck? They bought a worthless planet, and who would have thought they'd discover a huge amount of precious minerals? From a small company, they became the biggest corporation on planet Luojia overnight. I'm so jealous. Han Hao's mother also took the opportunity to lead him over and warmly start a conversation. Young Master Lin, over here. I am Han Yumei, and this is my son, Han Hao. He also greeted him. Young Master Lin, it's a great honor to meet you. He gave them some face and replied, Hello? Is there a reason you two came looking for me? The people around them couldn't help but gossip. Who are they? Trying to get attention. Someone laughed and replied, That's the wife and son of the Han family's corporation. They're probably negotiating something. Probably trying to get close to young Master Lin. Han Yumei eagerly began, Young Master Lin, my son, Han Hao, is also in the steel armor shelter. In the future, the two of you could become good friends. He quickly added, That's right, young Master Lin. We're both in the same shelter. If you ever need help, just say the word. Hearing this mother-son duo, he felt a flicker of annoyance, but on the surface, he just smiled. Oh, all right, fine. I happen to be looking for someone. Suddenly her eyes flashed as she looked in this direction. Han Sen was strolling along, remarking with admiration, The hot pot here is pretty good, huh? Zhang Danfeng walked ahead and replied smugly, Of course! They're all famous chefs! Han Yumei's eyes filled with malice as she muttered his name, Han Sen. Then she pushed Han Hao forward and said sweetly, If you're looking for someone, you've definitely come to the right person. Han Hao is great at this kind of thing. You two go ahead and talk. I have to take care of something. After saying that, she walked over and aggressively grabbed his arm. She said aggressively, Hey, where do you think you are? What gives you the right to be here? I've heard all about you from Han Hao. Now get lost. Your horrible reputation is known everywhere. Don't you dare affect my son's future! Han Sen and Zhang Danfeng remained silent as the woman continued her venomous threats. Don't think just because you got into the steel armor shelter you can find anyone you want. Han Yumei pointed a finger in his face and said contemptuously, Do you really think you're worthy? Han Sen finally lost his patience and retorted, Where I go is none of your business, auntie. I have nothing to do with you people. Hearing this, she became even more furious. Oh, you little brat! I'm warning you, my son Han Hao. The argument had attracted the attention of young Master Lin. What's all that shouting over there? Hey, that person is... Seeing the familiar figure, he realized it was Brother Sen. Suddenly, young Master Lin leaped forward and threw his arms around him, cheering, Brother Sen! Brother Sen! It really is you! I finally found you. I missed you so much. Caught in the sudden embrace, Han Sen couldn't react in time. Huh? Hey, who is that guy? Young Master Lin's eyes lit up as he said cheerfully, Brother Sen, you're my savior. It was so hard to find you. When I heard you were at the steel armor shelter, I came looking for you right away. Zhang Danfeng, confused, asked, Savior? Old Han, you saved young Master Lin. What happened? He looked helplessly at the person in front of him. The surrounding crowd began to gossip eagerly. Holy crap, he saved young Master Lin? His ancestors must have accumulated a lot of good karma. That's right. He's hit the jackpot. I can't believe the person who saved him is so young. Who is he? Is he married? I have a daughter at home. Han Yumei was horrified. How did it turn out like this? Han Hao was just as shocked as his mother. Young Master Lin said Han Sen saved him. That he's his savior? Han Sen gave a slight cough. Ahem. Young Master Lin, forgive me, but this kind of welcome isn't really for me. We can talk about it later. I have to go now. Young Master Lin held onto his arm and asked, Brother Sen, where are you going? My aircraft is outside. Let me give you a ride. Han Sen waved his hand in refusal. No need, young Master Lin. Thank you for the offer. He waved as he watched the figure walk away, shouting, Brother Sen, we'll be seeing each other a lot. I'm going to follow you. The gossiping crowd started buzzing again. Who is that guy? Why does young Master Lin admire him so much? He doesn't look like a noble. Right. I've never heard his name in aristocratic circles. It's strange. But anyone who could save young Master Lin must be extraordinary. Zhang Danfeng nudged him. Old Han, you completely stole the spotlight tonight. You have to tell me how you saved the great young Master Lin, Han Sen replied nonchalantly. No rush. Let's enjoy ourselves first. We'll talk about it later. Meanwhile, Han Yu Mei was seething with rage. That brat Han Sen, he dares to use young Master Lin as his backer. Her son Han Hao gritted his teeth in anger. I thought he was just some guy who leeches off women. I never thought he had someone else. This is so annoying. Under a clear blue sky, amidst towering skyscrapers, Han Sen strolled along with his hands in his pockets. Finally finished explaining everything to that guy. He sure loves to gossip. But I hope I never have to see Lin Beifeng again. He mused. Then again, he's rich, so I don't have to worry about whether he'll pay up or not. Suddenly, a loud explosion erupted in the distance. A huge fire broke out on top of a building. Han Sen was stunned. What's happening? At that moment, a system notification appeared. Warning! Warning! Unidentified subjects have infiltrated. Warning! Warning! From the site of the fire, a large crowd ran out in a panic. The scene was chaotic, filled with shouts and screams. Fire! Help! Run! Get away! Hide! Without a second thought, Han Sen rushed straight in. His mind raced. If I'm not mistaken, that fireball came from a spaceship, and that type of ship belongs only to the Shura clan. The Shura clan, humanity's mortal enemy. Their characteristics are a uniform appearance, masks, and horns. Humanity has been fighting against them for centuries. Here on this planet, in the beginning, because the Shura's physical prowess far surpassed that of humans, humanity always failed to resist them. That is, until nearly 200 years ago, when humanity discovered the world of God's sanctuary. Inside the world of the sanctuary, they were able to obtain. A group of panicked people shouted as they ran, "The defense system has been destroyed!" Quick, call the rescue team. The communication devices are jammed. We've lost connection. It's hopeless! Han Sen rushed forward, analyzing internally. This is strange. Planet Luojia is primarily a commercial planet. Why would their warships appear here? Model. He was worried, wondering if anyone had died inside. Han Sen looked up at the tall building where a ship had smashed through the glass, creating a massive hole with black smoke billowing from the wreckage. The little girl, hanging precariously, was crying her heart out. Help me. Sob, sob, sob. Daddy. Mommy. I'm scared. Hick. Han Sen was horrified. Dangerous. If the little girl fell from that height, she would... Suddenly, his eyes widened in terror. The lid of the pod suddenly burst open, and then a member of the Asura clan stepped out. With blood-red eyes, a tall frame, and bulging muscles, he was terrifying. Han Sen was shocked. A golden-horned noble. He slowly stepped out, right next to the little girl. The child, still terrified, wouldn't stop crying. Daddy? Mommy? Hick! The Asura clan member raised his blade, preparing to strike. In that instant, an orange figure flashed by in the blink of an eye. Gold coin appeared, weapon in hand, as a stream of light shot up towards the hole. At that moment, the reporter raised his camera and snapped a picture. Reporter Fang Quan's jaw dropped as he stared at the flash. What was that? Am I seeing things? That's... Just as he was about to bring his blade down, Gold Coin shot straight towards the little girl. He managed to scoop her up into his arms just in time, his gleaming armored hand blocking the sword. Gold Coin leaned to the side, one hand blocking the Asura's strike, while the other held the little girl. It was a spectacular sight. Fang Quan, snapping pictures excitedly, said, "He saved that child!" So awesome. Gold Coin. No doubt about it. That's Gold Coin. I've only seen him on the hot news feeds, but I finally witnessed it myself. Today's my lucky day. Tomorrow's headline is definitely mine. He took the opportunity to quickly lower the girl down, reassuring her, "Don't be scared. I'm here now. Gold Coin couldn't help but sweat, thinking, his sword can destroy my mutant armor. I can't be reckless. How could a member of the Asura clan let him go so easily? He leaped down in pursuit, bringing his blade down again. Gold Coin cursed under his breath. Damn, he's fast! He changed course, gracefully dodging and then flying up into the air, his figure quickly vanishing as Gold Coin shot straight into a building. The glass window shattered from the impact. He told the little girl to find a place and hide. Don't make a sound. The little girl wiped her tears. Okay, big brother, thank you. The number of people around made him even more worried. There are too many people here. The Asura had already caught up. He stood guard right in front of the entrance. The creature easily slashed him, and blood trickled from his mouth. He gritted his teeth, thinking, so painful, damn it, at this rate. Fang Chuan saw the situation wasn't good. Hey, why didn't Gold Coin dodge that attack? With his skills, he could have easily taken it down. Then he suddenly realized, maybe Gold Coin can't hold out any longer. An adult golden-horned noble's combat ability is no less than that of an evolved human, but Gold Coin isn't an evolved human yet. If this goes on, he'll die! Come on, Gold Coin, fight it! His hand clenched into a fist and slammed onto the ground as he prepared to fight. Fang Quan gritted his teeth, conflicted. Is it wrong for me to be live-streaming this? If Gold Coin gets killed, what am I even doing? Gold Coin threw a full punch at him, vowing, damn it, even if I die, I have to drive this Asura out of here. In just a moment, he was struck by the blade again. The only thought that flashed through his mind was, he's decided he's going to kill everyone with no exceptions. The Asura's eyes glowed with a fiery red light. The killing intent was overwhelming. Fang Quan gasped in fear. If Gold Coin takes another hit like that, he'll die. He has to dodge it. The creature raised its blade again, intending to finish him with one blow. Fang Quan cheered him on. Gold Coin, don't die, dodge it quickly. You have to give it your all. No one will blame you. Just then, a blue aura surged up. Cheers erupted through the live stream. Gold Coin, he's about to counterattack. Kill him. Teach that bastard a lesson. Don't let him live. Gold Coin is invincible. My little angel, I love you. At the same time, he wrapped his arms around the Asura's large body. Pushing him downward, the two of them plummeted towards the ground. The creature looked at him, even more ferocious. Are you crazy? Gold Coin just gritted his teeth, his determination clear in his actions. The two figures, wrapped in a swirl of light, fell even faster. The cheers were nonstop. Amazing! I've chosen a name worthy of his actions. Trampling the Asura. So handsome, so cool. The aura of Gold Coin. A god of war has descended. Die, Asura, die! Falling from such a height. What will Gold Coin do next? Smoke billowed up and debris flew everywhere. The viewers kept asking, what happened? Is that Asura dead? What about our Gold Coin? I'm so scared. What happened to him? Everyone look! What are you all still thinking? He's okay! Fang Quan ran over with his camera, chanting in his head, although I want my news on the front page, I don't want to sacrifice a hero to get it. Please, Gold Coin, please don't be dead. He stopped. In front of him was a large crater. As the smoke slowly cleared, the Asura was lying in a pool of blood. Fang Quan was stunned. The Asura is dead. He looked around, searching. Where's Gold Coin? Why can't I see him? Cries came from above, and the viewers' comments were filled with sorrow. So, Gold Coin has fallen. What should I do? Fang Chuan pointed his camera up. It was from that hole. Worried children were looking down. Gasps of admiration were endless. They were praising him. The kids. Gold Coin's room is over there? Oh my God. Gold Coin didn't dodge the Asura's attack because he was protecting those kids. He's so kind. Gold Coin is a true man. Gold Coin was here. Where did he go? Don't tell me he's dead. Hurry up, let's go find him. Under the bright moonlight, the modern cityscape stood out, with its skyscrapers glowing with yellow lights. The TV screen replayed the scene from earlier, Gold Coin saving the person. Viewers wouldn't stop praising him. Coin God is amazing. Coin God is so strong. Incredible. Hansen had returned to his room. He was bandaging the wound on his chest. He was lost in thought. The Asura clan is truly powerful. At that moment, I almost couldn't win. Luckily, my God gene points increased quite a bit, and I only suffered minor injuries. He couldn't help but worry as he looked at the screen. I didn't think anyone would have recorded that battle. After I took that guy down, I left immediately. I figured my identity wouldn't be exposed. Hansen picked up the blade again, lost in thought. After I took that guy down, I left immediately. I figured my identity wouldn't be exposed. Luckily, that Shura was already injured. Otherwise, it would have been hard to kill him, and I might have ended up dead or escaping covered in wounds. I got this out of it, too. He carefully examined the blade, concluding, "The Shura clan is far more advanced in close combat weapon alloys than humanity. Plus, this blade belonged to a golden-horned Shura. This is better than good." Hansen calculated carefully. "This battle blade is very eye-catching. Anyone who saw the video would definitely recognize it. I'll have to modify it, make it smaller. I could turn it into a sword, maybe even change the color." Suddenly, a piece of the sword came off by accident. He wondered in confusion, "Did I break it?" From that spot, a small object appeared. He realized, "Hey, this is a memory card." Hansen excitedly plugged the card into his computer. "Here's something good. Let's see what we've got." The screen then displayed a video of Ashura using an incredibly powerful technique. Reverse Heartblade. He was fascinated. "A secret, unteachable art of a noble Shura family. According to the description, my physical fitness should allow me to learn it." And so, he began to practice. With just one strike, a large wooden post was split in two. Hansen's eyes lit up as he looked at the treasure in his hands. "So this is the reverse scale slash. It's so strong, huh?" He laughed. "What a huge score." Suddenly, his phone rang. It was Lin Beifeng. Hansen answered, "Young Master Lin, what can I do for you?" Lin Beifeng laughed cheerfully. "Hansen, aren't you at the shelter? Are you going to take your little master on a big hunt, huh?" Hansen said, seemingly with a plan in mind. "Sorry, I'm busy, but I do have a big plan in the works." A while later, Hansen walked in and said hurriedly, "Station Master Chin, I know you're a very wonderful person. He finally blurted it out. "I really don't want to go to Black Hawk Military Academy. I want to go to Luojia." Qin Xuan and Yang Manli stared at each other. Yang Manli slammed the table in anger. "Hansen, are you stupid or just dumb? Black Hawk is one of the top 50 most famous academies. Luojia doesn't even make it into the top 1,000. Why would you want to go there?" Qin Shin chimed in coolly. "Both the education and services at Luojia are incomparable to Black Hawk. Over there, you can even get hands-on experience with battle armor and warships, with the best instructors in the field of new martial arts. Do you understand?" Then she walked up to him, suggesting, "If you graduate from such a good place, your future will be bright. I'm recommending you for Black Hawk. It has a special annual quota for archery specialists. With my recommendation and your archery skills, you'll have plenty of opportunities." Hansen hesitated, having his own worries. "Even though she's right, Black Hawk isn't on planet Luojia. If I go, who will take care of Mom and Yan?" Qin Shun, with a hand on her hip, said dismissively, "If Trash wants to stay in the dump, that's fine. A chance like this isn't easy for just anyone to get." She pointed to the side and said, "Qin Xuan, analyze the data from this video." Qin Xuan replied, "All right, okay, let's take a look." The three of them walked over to a large screen. On it was a scene of him fighting the Shura. Hansen was furious. "I knew it. I really want to find the guy who recorded this and beat him black and blue." Qin Xuan looked at the screen and asked, "Manly, what do you see?" Manly just spat out 2 words, "Stupid golden god." Hearing that, Hansen was stunned. "Huh? This woman dares to call me stupid? Does she have no concept of what cool is?" Yang Manli analyzed every movement. His strength and speed are absolutely top tier in the first god's sanctuary. The best combat method would be to attack from a distance and strike continuously. But he fought head-on. It really shows he doesn't know his own limits. Qin Xuan, resting her chin on her hand, watched intently and said thoughtfully, "You're right. That golden-horned Shura looked like he was already heavily injured beforehand. Otherwise, Golden God would have been killed by him." Hansen couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat at the 2 women's professionalism, admiring them. These women trained in the military are no joke. Their assessment is spot on. Yang Manli's eyes were sharp as she said, "This is the second time I've seen him after that fight in the room. But now he has wings on his back. It must be him, right?" Qin Xuan smiled faintly and replied, "Both the wings and the armor are from god-blood creatures. He didn't use a bow before, looking at it from that angle." Then she glanced over at him, the implication clear. "He's completely different from this guy here, who only knows how to run his mouth." Hansen blushed, waving his hands and forcing a laugh. "Of course, how could I possibly compare to the Golden God?" Tinshen gave him a warning look. "You can go. Think about enrolling in Black Hawk. Don't disappoint me." The sky was clear, and a corner of the street could be seen. Han Sen walked slowly down the street, deep in thought. Qin Xuan seems very interested in getting me into Black Hawk. This is so troublesome. I'm not even 20 yet, so I can't do my military service. He still couldn't help but worry and plan ahead. If I get sent to Black Hawk, I'll have to leave enough money for my mom and sister so they don't have to worry about living expenses. After that, Han Sen made a phone call. Young Master Lin, those 2 Z-steel arrows with 5%, have someone send them over to me. Shen Beifeng replied, Brother Sen, do you really only need those 2 arrows? My family can cooperate with the Z-Alloy Steel Group. I can get these items at cost price, so you should take more. Brother Sen, won't you consider letting me come with you? He said sincerely, I can really help, I won't be a burden. Han Sen scratched his head, but still refused. That place is too dangerous. With your status, how could I risk taking you along? I only need 2 arrows. If I'm lucky, I might bring back a mutant creature as a gift for you. In the lush forest, a bright crescent moon shone from above. Carrying his bag, Han Sen walked with a relaxed stride. His lonely figure moved along a quiet path surrounded by mountains and forests. He walked to the riverbank, a peaceful place with rocky outcrops and small bushes. 2 days later, Han Sen stood on a cliff as 2 flying beasts ascended beside him. He said thoughtfully, Finally, the dark swamp. In the gloomy forest, a swarm of mutant black stinger bees flew around their hive. He said with certainty, This is it. The place with the beast soul arrow, it's hiding here. Han Sen, full of determination, told himself, No matter how dangerous it is, it can't stop me from getting stronger. The ferocious mutant black stinger bees, with their razor-sharp stingers, seemed capable of taking the life of anyone who entered the edge of the gloomy river. Vicious beasts flew around him, but he wasn't afraid. He thought, No wonder entering the dark swamp is so difficult. The mutant creatures here are much more terrifying and ferocious. It's a shame I can't kill them all at once. I need to find a suitable creature to hunt. He scanned his surroundings. Under the dim moonlight, the water below reflected the long shadows of a school of snakes swiftly swimming by. Han Sen, hovering in the air, drew his bow and aimed at his prey, saying, You there, snake! You're my first prey! Instantly, the powerful arrow shot downwards. He calculated to himself, I only have 2 arrows. I'll have to lure it in, attack, and then retrieve them. Can't waste them. Very quickly, the giant creature underwater was pierced by the arrow. He commanded, Come back here! A strange beast emerged, and another arrow decisively pierced through its head, causing its long body to leap out of the water. At the same time, a notification panel appeared. Hunt successful. Hunted devil-fanged serpent king. No beast soul gained. Consume its flesh to gain 0 to 10 mutant geno points. Hearing this, Han Sen joyfully exclaimed, Excellent! At this moment, under the water, schools of strange fish were moving along the bottom, unaware of the approaching danger. Bubbles rose continuously as the arrow sped through the water, chasing the fish. Quickly, one was hit. Then, 2 golden fish were pierced by the arrow simultaneously. The others scattered in panic. He delighted in controlling the line. My prey! The more you struggle, the more I enjoy it. With his wings spread, Han Sen glided lightly over the water's surface, pulling the line towards another beast, saying, Hey, sweetie, you're next. Come on now. With one hand, he pulled up the arrow. As it brought the fish to the surface, his other hand instantly sliced it in 2. At the same time, the notification panel appeared again. Hunt successful. Hunted mutant blood carp. Gained beast soul. Consume its flesh to gain 1 to 10 mutant geno points. Hearing this, Han Sen's eyes lit up. What? He threw a fist in the air, lunging forward with a satisfied smile. That's more like it. I got a beast soul, and a mutant beast soul at that. The dark swamp is truly a paradise. The result of this hunt was a pot full of steaming, fragrant meat. Just then, the system notification appeared. Consumed flesh of blood carp. Gained 1 mutant geno point. System notification. Consumed flesh of blood carp. Gained 1 mutant geno point. The notification panel kept popping up. System notification, consumed flesh of blood carp, gained 1 mutant geno point. He ate with satisfaction, kindly giving a piece to the small creature beside him. System notification, consumed flesh of blood carp, gained 1 mutant geno point. Han Sen gently stroked the small creature, happily boasting to it, Meowth, it's only been a few days. A few days since I got to this place. My mutant geno points have increased by 31. Afterwards, he stood up and examined the spear. The beast soul of the mutant blood carp is a spear, not an arrow. It's all right, this is good. After all, beast soul weapons don't need repairs and are easy to carry. Even if they're completely destroyed, they just restore themselves. Suddenly, a gust of white air, accompanied by a sound, flew closer. Hansen immediately went on guard, asking, "Who's there?" Just then, a large eagle descended from above, kicking up a cloud of smoke. Hansen instantly drew his sword defensively, thinking to himself, "It's probably a flying-type creature. This kind of creature usually doesn't attack humans randomly." The beast lowered its head, and a figure jumped down from it. Lu Wainan walked straight over, pointed at the piece of blue meat, and proposed, "Hey, kid, is this meat yours? Let's make a deal." Hansen lowered his head in thought. This is a mount-type beast soul. I can't believe someone is gutsier than me, daring to come to this swamp to train, he said bluntly. No. Lu Wainan walked over and sat down next to the boiling pot of meat. He scooped some up to taste, while saying, "A word of warning, that's poison pan beast meat. You should be careful." At the same time, another notification was heard. System notification. Consumed flesh of poison pan beast. Gained 1 mutant geno point. He joyfully stood up. I gained a mutant geno point. That means this place is filled with mutant creatures. Lu Wainan raised his blade, threatening, "I'm warning you. You will make a deal with me. Otherwise, you'll be prey for my mutant iron-feathered eagle." Hansen didn't hesitate, replying coldly, "No means no. Are you an idiot or something?" Hearing this, the man flew into a rage, raising his blade. "Arrogant fool, you need to be taught a lesson." Lu Wainan charged forward, shouting, "I gave you a chance! Die!" The blade struck the tough armor, having no effect at all. Lu Wainan broke out in a sweat, saying, "What? My alloy dagger has no effect on you?" Hansen lifted his spear. A supernatural power emanated from it. He said arrogantly, "An alloy dagger, you say? This kind of trash dares to fight me?" After he spoke, he swung his blade down, shattering Lu Weinan's weapon. Kim Tae continued, his voice filled with contempt. "You should work on your fighting skills first." He swung a few more times, but Lu Weinam arched his back and dodged them all. He stopped, seemingly in disbelief. Touching the light scratch on his face, he wailed, "Oh, my handsome face!" Knowing he couldn't win, Lu Weinam jumped onto the back of his iron spirit bird, shouting defiantly, "Don't get cocky! You'll pay for this today!" With that, the iron spirit bird pushed off and flew into the air. Kim Tae wasn't about to let him get away. He leaped up, taunting, "You think I can't do anything just because you're on a mount?" Lu Weinam stared in horror at the figure flying swiftly towards him. "How the hell can you fly? And at that speed, too?" "Divine blood beast soul." Kim Tae smirked, pointing his spear at him. "Excellent question. Your prize is a poke in the ass." Lu Weinam clutched his bleeding butt, which had been stabbed by the spear. He screamed, "Ah, my butt!" Kim Tae laughed sinisterly. "Here's another one." And with that, his other butt cheek was stabbed. Lu Weinam wailed in pain, begging for his life. "Oh God, please spare me. Don't poke me anymore. If you keep poking it, my butt won't grow. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Forgive me." With both hands covering his bloody butt, Lu Weinam, his face streaked with tears, held up an item and pleaded, "I surrender, Great One. Just let me go and we'll pretend this never happened." Scene change. A crescent moon shone brightly in the night sky. Beside a fire, Kim Tae stood with his arms crossed, looking down at the man kneeling with his butt in the air. "Kid, your life is in my hands. Talk. Tell me something useful, like, where are the black needle bees, for instance?" Hearing this, Lu Weinam looked up and asked, "Black needle bees? That place is dangerous. I'm not going." In a desolate forest, Hansen and Lu Weinam had arrived. Lu Weinam hesitated. "Are all of these black needle bees?" It seemed he really didn't want to go. Hansen put an arm around his shoulder threateningly. "Lu Weinam, if you value your butt, you'll behave. I'll even give you some mutant beast meat." Terrified, Lu Weinam replied, "Understood." With that, Lu Weinam mounted his iron spirit bird and descended. As he flew, he complained, "Who is that guy? I just came to the shelter to train, and the first person I meet is this pervert." His mount finally touched down, but the moment it did, it exploded. Lu Weinam ran away in terror. "So many black needle bees, iron spirit bird, fly higher," Hansen said excitedly. "My time has come!" And then he immediately spread his wings and flew down. Hansen powerfully slaughtered the black needle bees. Each time he killed one, the system would announce, "Successful hunt. Black needle bee hunted. No beast soul obtained. Consume for 0 to 10 geno points." The more he hunted, the more excited Han Sen became. The system continued its announcements. Successful hunt. Black Needle Bee hunted. No beast soul obtained. Consume for 1 to 10 divine Geno points. More and more Black Needle Bees were killed. The system continuously announced, Successful hunt. Black Needle Bee hunted. No beast soul obtained. Consume for 0 to 10 divine Geno points. Successful hunt. Black Needle Bee hunted. No beast soul obtained. Consume for 0 to 10 divine Geno points. Han Sen said cheerfully, Finally, I got a Black Needle Bee beast soul. Now I have a beast soul arrow. This is awesome! The next morning, while strolling around, Han Sen cheerfully reflected on his hunt in the dark swamp. My mutant Geno points have reached 47, and my divine Geno points are at 26. I'm not far from maxing them out. Suddenly, people around him started running frantically. Hurry! This year's martial arts tournament is starting. Registration ends today. Let's go! This event caused a stir among the crowd. The words of the people around him made Han Sen suddenly realize. The martial arts tournament. I've only been gone a few days and I completely forgot. If I make it to the top 10, I can get a random beast soul. Something that good. I have to participate. At the martial arts venue, as soon as Han Sen registered, the system displayed his number, 8,888. Han Sen asked quietly, My number is 8,888. This year seems pretty grand. I wonder who I'll be up against, but I'm really excited. At the competition venue, everyone was excitedly discussing, This year is going to be interesting. The number of participants is double last year's. Whoever performs well this time must be the strongest in our shelter, with a status that's anything but ordinary. In the arena, everyone was hyped up. Get him! Die! I'm going to take all of you down today. I'll be the final winner, Han Sen observed thoughtfully. Just like last year's rules, each round has 100 participants. Everyone will fight in a battle royale, a true 1 versus 100, and the current group fighting is 51 to 55. He calculated silently. Right now, it's only the 50-plus group. I should be in the 80-plus group. I don't have to fight today. I'll find a good spot to watch the match. As he turned, he ran into Son of Heaven. He sneered and asked, Hey, ass freak! Try telling me your number. What if we're in the same group? Han Sen smiled and replied, Sorry to disappoint you. I don't intend to participate. La Tianyang angrily rushed forward, grabbing him by the collar and yelling, You coward! Why were you even born a man? Don't let your guard down or I'll kill you. Qin Shen suddenly walked over and said, Son of Heaven, it's almost your turn. Aren't you going to prepare? Son of Heaven said arrogantly. Of course. I'm still performing well. I'll definitely get a high-level certification, he said confidently. It's my turn to shine now, Qin Xuan. You have to watch my match. As soon as he left, Qin Xuan turned and asked Han Sen, Are you afraid of Son of Heaven? Han Sen answered bluntly, Yes. She asked why. He replied, He's strong and he's the young master of the Starry Group. How could a small fry like me have the guts to provoke him? Yang Manli retorted, But you were plenty brave when you killed that purple-feathered scaled dragon right in front of God's son. Qin Shun asked seriously, Han Sen, are you protecting your family? Are you afraid they'll be dragged into the feud between you and that guy? So you're trying to avoid him whenever possible. Qin Xuan's perceptiveness caught Han Sen off guard. Is she reading my mind? That's right. I don't care how they see me. What's important is my family, my mom and Yan. I have to protect them at all costs. Star God is really connected to Dad's death. Now is not the time. Seeing his expression, Qin Xuan was sure she had guessed correctly. She continued, You really are a filial son. You always care so much about your family. You should reconsider the Black Hawk matter, Han Sen asked, puzzled. Why? Qin Xuan explained. Once you join Black Hawk, I'll get you into the special forces. All members are protected by the military. No one would dare touch them, not even God's son. Han Sen asked curiously. Sounds like a high-status position. What kind of missions does that team handle? Qin Xuan gave a vague answer in return. You'll know once you join. A while later, after leaving the arena, Han Sen thought to himself, I should consider joining Black Hawk. It could be beneficial for me if God's son ever targets Mom and Xiaoyan. No, that will never happen. The next day at the arena, people were shouting angrily, Which bastard is the last one? Why hasn't he shown his face yet? Or did he get scared and run off with his tail between his legs? Someone cursed furiously. Damn it, 99 people waiting for one guy. What a joke. That guy should just give up. If he doesn't, I'll be the first to punch him. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Sorry to keep you all waiting. When they saw the last person walk in, everyone's face turned to shock. It's really him! Isn't that the guy who killed the golden-horned Shura? Dollar God is competing, Hansen chuckled to himself. Hansen isn't showing up. Dollar God will be his replacement for now. Dollar God is stealing the spotlight tonight. As soon as the match started, Hansen struck decisively, taking care of them in just a few seconds, one after another. Those hit by Hansen could only collapse in pain. They lay scattered across the ring, groaning. My arm! My stomach, it hurts so much. Dollar God is too strong. He's just a bully picking on the weak. No one here can take him down. What's the point of fighting? Hansen arrogantly provoked them. Who's next? Come on, all of you at once. Everyone immediately forced a smile and admitted defeat. As expected of Dollar God, we're all toast anyway. Let's surrender. That's right. Surrender, just look at us. You can tell how weak we are. Fighting Dollar God is a losing battle. Let's just end it here, please. Let us go. Hearing this, Hansen smiled and said, Thanks for the match. He then shouted in delight, I won! Thanks for your help. The unconvinced audience applauded and congratulated him. Winning so easily? That's Dollar God for you. Dollar God really didn't disappoint. This victory is indisputable. After leaving the arena, Qin Xuan, God's son, and Quan Ge walked up to him. Dollar God, could we have a word? Hansen couldn't help but feel worried. Those three? Why are they together? Seeing him turn back to look, Qin Xuan spoke up. Dollar God, I want to invite you to join the Steel Armor Gang. Hansen laughed and asked, Are you three trying to recruit me? What an honor. God's son warned irritably, You stole 2 of my god-blood creatures. I'm already being generous by coming to you. Make the smart choice. Qin Xuan asked, In this shelter, our faction is the strongest. We're also allies. An expert like you should choose opponents worthy of your skill, don't you think? Hansen refused. No opponents, no allies. I just want to be alone. Just me. With that, he turned to leave. Quan Ge immediately stepped forward to stop him. Wait, Dollar God. You can refuse us, but someone as strong as you must have some special god-blood creature. Please, tell us. Hansen smirked to himself. You guessed it, buddy. Too bad I can't tell you I used star pills to raise it. He replied. There's no special method, just dumb luck. However, I do have a few extra mutant creatures if you're interested. Quan Ge couldn't contain his excitement. Really? Name your price. I'll take them all. Qin Xuan snapped angrily. What do you mean you'll take them all? Am I invisible to you? God's son quickly jumped into the competition. You think you can outbid me? 1.5 million for each one. I'll take them. Hansen looked at them competing. He couldn't help but feel amused. Allies, huh? So quick to backstab each other? Friends indeed. I didn't think I'd be able to use the black stinger bees I brought back from the dark swamp so soon, he spoke up. No rush. I don't intend to sell them for money. He continued, but I will trade them for any S-Class shop except for the St. Hall. God's son asked in surprise, What? Quan Ge also hesitated. You want to buy an advanced Super Geno Core art? But Qin Xuan said grimly, the S-Class St. Hall has high-level restrictions. It can't be bought with money. God's son rejected the offer. That request is too difficult to fulfill. How about 2 million for each one? Hansen coldly walked away. As he walked, he said, Non-negotiable. I don't want anything else. You all can take your time to think about it. In the end, the three of them didn't stop him anymore. In a secluded forest, Hansen slowly approached Qin Xuan, presenting the S-Class Sanctuary card. Here's the S-Class Sanctuary Shopping District qualification I got. Now, the mutant creatures. Did you bring enough? Hansen smiled and took it. The new station chief is fast, much more reliable than those other two. He took out a bag of mutant creatures, saying, There are 30 black stinger bees in total. If you eat them all, your sacred blood geno points will increase quite a bit. Hansen took out another bag. In here, I have a mutant blood sawfish and a demon fang snake king. If you want both, it's just 3 million. Xuan proudly replied, Money is not an issue. I can buy them all. But Dollar, you're a smart man. You should understand that I'm not negotiating with you just for some geno points. Afterwards, Hansen happily returned home with the S-Class Sanctuary card. Getting the S-Class Sanctuary card was easier than I thought, he said in a low voice. That's Qin Xuan for you, a high-ranking figure in the Queen's armored gang. It seems like she's trying to recruit me. I wonder if she'd flip out if she knew Hansen and Asgard were the same person. Whatever. Let's check out the advanced hypergeno arts. He carefully reminded himself, This card can only be exchanged for one set. I need to be careful. I can't always be around Mom and little Yan. If they could learn some hyper-geno arts. A moment later, Han Sen was carefully examining Holy Angel. My combat skills can improve in a short time, and I won't have to worry about Son of Heaven causing trouble. This Holy Angel isn't bad. It helps improve one's genetic makeup. He carefully read the instructions. The training process was gentle and calm, not too flashy. According to the description, Holy Angel was similar to a hyper-geno art. It allows the practitioner to become stronger without anyone noticing. But in comparison, a true hyper-geno art is still stronger than Holy Angel, which is a sanctuary's version of a hyper-geno art. It's still weaker than Zhuilong Yan's from Luogia Star Academy. At Shenghua Academy, a teacher asked, "You want to request a leave of absence for Han Yan?" Han Sen replied, "Yes, Teacher Ku. My family has some matters to attend to, so she'll need to be away for a while." Teacher Shenghua, whose name was Ku Wange, said sternly, "Your parents are very irresponsible. Although Han Yan is registered, no one from her family has ever shown up for a parent-teacher conference, and the first time I meet her older brother, it's to ask for leave." Han Sen gave a weak smile and replied, "I'm very sorry. My family has been busy, so we've been neglectful." He thought to himself, "I can't tell her the real reason. I want little Yan to stay home and practice Holy Angel." Q Wang stood up and said sternly, "To be honest, Han Yan is very gifted, but she's still using a regular-grade nutrient solution. If she doesn't supplement with an advanced-grade nutrient solution and treatment, she's very likely to be left behind. I hope the family can pay more attention and be more serious about this matter," Han Sen asked, puzzled. "Advanced-grade nutrient solution?" She explained, "It's a higher-quality solution. Supplementing with it as early as possible enhances both physical and mental fitness. Surely her family doesn't want little Yan to be stuck at the starting line forever, right?" He asked, "How much does that cost?" Ku Wang replied, "For S-grade, it's 5 million yuan a year. Since you enrolled her in Shenghua, you must have anticipated the cost." Han Sen thought anxiously, "Damn it, I don't have enough money. I can't ask Mom for it either. The fastest way is to use crystal shards to raise mutant creatures and then sell them." Back at the Han family home on Luogia Star, Han Sen watched Han Yan intently practicing along with the person on TV. Han Sen smiled happily, thinking, "Little Yan really is talented. She grasps the training method so quickly. I'm so proud to have such a talented little sister." He called out, "Little Yan, you're doing great. When Mom gets back, remember to teach her Holy Angel." The little girl asked happily, "Really? I can do that?" Han Sen patted her head and said, "Of course, but don't tell anyone you're practicing Holy Angel. This is our family's secret. Once we get the S-grade nutrient solution, you'll improve even more." Han Yen said excitedly, "That's great! Big Brother is the best! Little Yan wants to be stronger too!" That night, at Qin Shuan's place, Yang Manli asked Qin Shuan seriously, "Are you really going to do that?" Qin Shuan calmly replied, "Don't worry, it's not a big deal." Then she said angrily, "It's been so long, and that kid still hasn't given me an answer. My patience is running out. I really want to see what kind of person he is." Young Manly had no choice but to take out a pill, saying, "That person is really not simple, but if you insist, I won't say any more." Han Sen had been summoned by Qin Shuan to the combat room. Qin Shuan frantically rushed in, attacking Han Sen. He thought irritably, "What's this woman going crazy about now?" Qin Shuan kicked him straight in the face. "What the hell? Why is she attacking so fiercely? Did she eat something weird?" She walked over coldly and said, "Your progress seems to have slowed down recently. I should start paying more attention to you. Have some water and rest. We'll continue later." Han Sen nodded. "Okay." Seeing Qin Shuan quickly drink her water, Han Sen thought gleefully, "So you're tired too, huh? Serves you right for forcing me to fight so intensely." He slowly opened his water bottle and took a small sip. After drinking, the sight before him left him utterly horrified. A seductive Qin Shuan stood before him and asked, "Han Sen, aren't I lovely?" At that moment, his frost jade skeleton art, which dispels impurities, automatically activated. Han Sen fell weakly. The frost jade skeleton art is working on its own. Something was put in that water bottle. What is Qin Shuan trying to do? Qin Shuan stepped closer gently and asked, "Han Sen, isn't my body delicious?" Han Sen was furious. "Damn it! Why is she trying to seduce me? I can't let her hypnotize me. I have to trick her first." He said dreamily, Your chest." Qin Shuan asked, "What about it?" Han Sen replied, "They're big, round, and so white. Hearing this, Qin Xuan became absolutely furious. Men are such simple, depraved creatures. She leaned down and said, "I'll let you touch it, okay?" Han Sen raised a trembling hand and she immediately slapped it away, so obedient. He's completely hypnotized. "All right," Qin Xuan asked seriously. "Han Sen, are you Gold Coin?" He answered honestly, "No." She continued to inquire, "Why are you still hesitant to join Blackhawk?" He replied, "Blackhawk is too far from home. If I go, I won't be able to take care of my mother and my little sister. I don't feel comfortable being that far away from them." Qin Shen was taken aback. So that's the reason. He really cares a lot about his family. Suddenly, she asked Han Sen again, "From the bottom of your heart, what do you think of me?" Han Sen answered vaguely, "Miss Qin Xuan." Han Sen said wearily, "Miss Qin Xuan, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever met, the most adorable person in this entire shelter." Qin Shen was incredibly embarrassed. She immediately slapped him across the face. Han Sen shot up. "Station Chief Qin, what did you do to me?" He began to complain. "I only remember drinking the water you gave me, and then..." Qin Xuan cut him off coldly. "It's nothing. We were just training so hard that you got tired and passed out. I slapped you to wake you up." She thought irritably, "Why was I even worried?" "I'll make him tell the truth later." Han Sen, having achieved his goal, smirked to himself. "Qin Xuan is just a girl after all. She can't even handle a little teasing. She won't suspect me anymore. With her protecting me, everyone will just think I'm strong because of her help. Then, I can slowly improve my combat skills. Someday in the future, I can completely erase the existence of Gold Coin." That night, in a desolate forest, Han Sen handed a bag of mutant creatures to young Master Lin, saying, "Young Master Lin, this is what I promised you. I waited until now to give you these two specifically. I don't want to attract attention, so don't tell anyone else." Young Master Lin opened the bag, looked at the item inside, and was utterly astonished. "A mutant bloodfin shark. Brother Sen, you really are a man of your word. You're the real deal," Han Sen said confidently. "Of course, I always keep my word." Suddenly, Son of Heaven walked over and said in a sinister tone, "Well, if it isn't the great young Master Lin, why are you hanging out with this idiot?" Following Son of Heaven was Luo Tianyang. Young Master Lin quickly stood in front of Han Sen and retorted, "Son of Heaven, what a coincidence. Let me tell you, Brother Sen is my friend. There might be a misunderstanding between you two. For my sake, just let it go." Luo Tianyang shouted angrily, "No way, not with that broke-ass punk!" Son of Heaven raised a hand to stop him and began to leave coldly. "Tianyang, let's go. No need to waste our time here. The next match is against that Gold Coin guy. Prepare yourself." Han Sen heard this and thought to himself, "So my second opponent is Luo Tianyang. A perfect chance to settle the score." The next morning at the martial arts tournament arena, the crowd was buzzing. "This match is going to be good. Luo Tianyang isn't weak, but you never know what'll happen when his opponent is Coin God." Luo Tianyang and Coin God? They're not even in the same league. He's one of Son of Heaven's men. No matter how strong Coin God is, he wouldn't dare to go against Son of Heaven, right? Su Xiaokao confidently declared, "Coin God will definitely win. I guarantee it." Liu Hongdao spoke up, reminding him, "Don't judge a book by its cover. Luo Tianyang has Son of Heaven backing him. Can Coin God really stand up to Son of Heaven?" The two of them hurried to their seats in the stands. Seeing a man next to them completely covered up, Su Xiaokao asked curiously, "Hey brother, aren't you hot? Are you trying to cosplay here or something?" Liu Hongdao said, "Coin God stole Son of Heaven's sacred blood creature. Who knows? What if Son of Heaven lends Luo Tianyang a beast soul to take revenge this time?" Su Xiaoqiao scoffed in response. "Isn't it just a beast soul from some gorilla? Coin God has plenty of beast souls himself. Luo Tianyang is just a brainless brute. He won't last 1 minute against Coin God," Liu Hongdao said. "All right then, let's make a bet. If Luo Tianyang lasts more than 1 minute, I get your mutant blood-horned beast. If not, you lose your mutant nightwolf." He hesitated. "Huh? My mutant nightwolf?" Yang Manly, who was sitting in front of them, spoke up wearily, "You guys are so annoying. This fight has nothing to do with you, yet you're betting away your beast souls." Suddenly, the screen flashed an announcement. "Gold Coin versus Luo Tianyang." The crowd went wild. "The battle begins. Where's Coin God? Where is he?" Suddenly, the man in the black cloak sitting near Su Xiaokao shot to his feet. As he threw off the cloak, Gold Coin appeared. Su Xiaokao shouted in amazement, "Coin God! Oh my God! He was sitting behind us!" Yang Manly was terrified. "I didn't even sense him.
What a weirdo!
Su Xiaokao yelled excitedly. Coin God! You have to take him down in under 1 minute, I'm begging you. Han Sen frowned, thinking, Su Xiaokao, you're really putting me in a tough spot. Luo Tianyang cursed angrily. You son of a bitch, Coin God! Get over here and take this! Han Sen quietly checked his personal stats, calculating his current condition. Not bad. 3 sacred blood beast souls. Get over here and take this hit from me. Han Sen quietly checked his personal information, assessing his current condition. Not bad. 3 sacred blood beast souls. 4 mutant beast souls, although that mutant 3-eyed cat is useless. A black-scaled serpent. It's only useful underwater. Gold Coin slowly steps onto the stage. The battle begins. A fired-up Luo Tianyang strikes. I'll mince you into paste! His god-blood beast soul appears. The god-blood ape beast soul has appeared. Liu Hengdao laughed. Luo Tianyang is actually using the Son of Heaven's god-blood beast soul. I'm definitely going to win this. Su Xiaokao anxiously whispered to Tashen. You can't let him drag this out for more than 1 minute. If you do, my mutant night wolf will be gone. Please. From above, the Son of Heaven silently observed. The people around him were buzzing. A god-blood creature and 2 mutant creatures. Setting aside Tashen, the Son of Heaven has really given him a lot. Tishan is in trouble. The Son of Heaven frowned and said, Tashen, you can't take him down alone. Everything you took from me. I'll have Luo Tianyang take it all back, bit by bit. Radiating killing intent, Han Sen stepped forward and asked Luo Tianyang, Who gave you the nerve to stand before me? As he spoke, his 2 legs transformed into horse legs, and he charged straight ahead, landing a direct blow on the ape beast soul. The ape roared in pain. It immediately knocked Han Sen's sword away. Liu Hengdao shouted with delight, Yes! The Son of Heaven laughed and said, Is that all you've got? Tianyang, hurry up and kill him! The ape beast soul roared furiously and charged at Han Sen. Han Sen calmly advanced, coldly drawing a new sword. He slashed straight into the ape. In agony, the ape coughed up a large mouthful of blood and collapsed onto the arena floor. The crowd was in an uproar. What's happening? What just happened? Liu Hengdao said in horror. No way! Yang Manli asked in surprise. He killed it instantly with a single move? Su Xiaokao couldn't believe his eyes either. Tashen won, and the match time is 9 seconds. He beat Luo Tianyang in just 9 short seconds. Su Xiaokao was ecstatic. Tashen won in less than 10 seconds. That's incredible. He really is the fastest. The Son of Heaven was utterly stunned. My god-blood and mutant beast souls! Impossible! He furiously screamed at Luo Tianyang, You useless trash! Get up! Get up for me right now! But at that moment, the ape's form was already fading away. It revealed Luo Tianyang, who was now lying unconscious in a pool of blood. The people in the stands excitedly chanted, Tashen! 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 Han Sen smiled happily and said, Too bad for you, Son of Heaven. You're no match for me. The Son of Heaven angrily vowed, Damn you! Just you wait! I swear I'll make you suffer a fate worse than death. A while later, after leaving the arena, Su Xiaokao was gleefully riding the Bloodslayer beast. Hey, that's my Bloodslayer beast! Cool, right? The 2 people next to him said admiringly, You're so lucky, Xiaokao. That bet was worth it. If I had known, I wouldn't have bet with Vice Chief Liu. Don't. That guy holds a grudge. He'll definitely find a chance to get revenge on you. Han Sen felt a sting of irritation watching this. Even though I defeated Luo Tianyang and provoked the Son of Heaven, the one who profited the most was Su Xiaokao. I didn't even get a single beast soul.